with more than 100 clinical studies. Be vigilant and seek medical advice at the first sign of fever. Be accurate with Exergen. Exergen temporal scanners available at Walmart and other fine retailers. Learn more at Exergen.com. Exergen is changing the way the world takes temperature.
Nashville's best sports talk, locally owned, home of our Nashville Predators. WPRT-FM Pegram, 97.5 Murfreesboro, WBUZ HD2 Laverne, online at thegamenashville.com. We are
ESPN
102.5 The Game. Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving. ESPN 102.5 The Game, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Happy holidays to everybody. That's right, especially if you're a Titan fan. Happy holidays after that win yesterday. Again, we are streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. It's a Fireball Hot Take Friday. And the Titans, with a victory on Thursday Night Football yesterday. Oh, my goodness. If you're a Titan fan, this weekend, and if you're unlike me and you celebrate Christmas, I've got my Hanukkah sweater on if you are watching the stream. But if you're a Titan fan, this couldn't be a better weekend. Most people don't work today. I do. But most people don't work today. Go ahead, take the day off. It's Christmas Eve. So yesterday, you could stay up as late as you wanted to watching the Thursday Night Football game and celebrating the Titans' victory. Then you got Christmas Eve today. Then you got Santa coming tomorrow for Christmas. And then the Titans may win the division tomorrow night when Indianapolis plays Arizona. So it's setting up for a great week. Plus Sunday, and we've got a triple header here, but the Chiefs play, the Patriots play. And if Santa is really in a good mood, maybe he'll give you all three. Arizona wins. Pittsburgh beats Kansas City, which I would not think possible after watching Pittsburgh last week, but half of Kansas City's team's on COVID. And the Patriots play the Bills, and I could see the Bills beating the Patriots. But it's funny that we start on Santa, because the thing about Santa, this is his season, after all. He will be entering your homes. He will be dropping off presents. I hope your kids will be leaving out milk and cookies. And perhaps you can leave a little fireball for Santa as well. But the thing I love about Santa is that he always delivers. But don't get too greedy with Santa either. Because sometimes you need to be thankful for what it is that Santa does for you and what Santa gives to you. Boy, I listened to a lot of Titan fans today. Yesterday after the game, Twitter blowing up. What do you think now, Jared? What do you think about us now? When I was ripping the Titans rear end on Monday, what'd I tell you? They're probably going to win on Thursday. Who did I pick last night at the end of the show? I picked the Titans. They win games like this. But it's funny because Santa did deliver. But he wasn't overweight. He didn't have a big white beard. Was wearing Santa colors. And his name was Jimmy Garoppolo. I understand the idea of being excited about your team. This was a game of two different players. There was A.J. Brown and Jimmy Garoppolo. Everybody else just played a supporting role. A.J. Brown was fantastic. Now, he didn't really get going until the second half. And why the 49ers didn't come out of their zone where A.J. just ran and sat down and they threw the ball to him on every play, I'll never be able to figure out. But A.J. Brown won the game for the Titans. And the other guy who won it was Jimmy Garoppolo. This is the NFL. The GM used to say it all the time back on the show. More games are lost than they are won. The Titans did not get out to an impressive start. The bad energy that they had, the lack of confidence that they had at the end of the Steeler game, I felt like we saw a lot of that early last night. In fact, the Titans were on the doorstep of getting run out of their own building on Thursday Night Football. And then Jimmy Garoppolo threw a pass that was intended for Jackrabbit Jenkins and couldn't have hit him any better. That was a big one. The Titans didn't score in the first half. They had 55 yards of total offense. TD went and dug this up. This was the worst offensive half of football since a 2010 Titan game at Houston, in which Rusty Smith, a late-round rookie pick out of Florida Atlantic, had to start because Vince Young and Kerry Collins were hurt. That was 1 yard worse than the performance that the Titans had in the first half yesterday. Todd Downing's game plan was horrific. I mean, he's throwing out screens, and clearly San Francisco, after they blow up the first two screens to the running back out of the backfield, maybe stop it a little bit, maybe not just throw it to a guy who's right there. That's pretty simple to me, but not to Todd Downing. They weren't really aggressive. They were worried about their tackles, and rightfully so, but they didn't need to score points in the first half. Because when San Francisco was about to make it 14-0, Jimmy Garoppolo threw an interception. The Titans didn't score a point yesterday until the 8-minute mark of the third quarter. I was sitting there in my seats. They're down 10-0 with the ball and 6 minutes to go, and they're starting to move it a little bit. And then they get stopped. Or then there's a penalty. Now, I'm not going to dog the Titans on all the penalties early in the game because I thought Hockley's crew was as bad as Jimmy Garoppolo last night. But they'd be driving, and it's 10-0, and I'm thinking, okay, 6 minutes to go. If the Titans can at least just get a field goal and go into the half and get the ball 10-3, then all of a sudden you've got a shot, and here you go. But they couldn't. Then they got the ball back. They were driving down. They had a touchdown to Foreman. They got called back. And then they didn't get any points. If you were playing a team with a quarterback who wasn't giving you the football last night, it would not have been very forgiving. But again, this is the season of Santa. What's amazing is how much this game mirrored the last game. Titans went in there, had a good first half, terrible second half, turned over the football, lost the game. And the angst of that game was, oh my God, how dare, this is the worst, this is terrible. This is the NFL. And when you have a very similar game, first half, can't move the football, can't do anything right, and then all of a sudden you get your turnovers in the second half, unlike last week where you gave away the turnovers, you get your turnovers, you win the game, everybody's happy. We had the show before us, Robbie and Elijah sitting there talking about Vrabel should be coach of the year. Like, whoa. Let's think about this game. Let's not get too caught up in what exactly transpired. A.J. Brown was awesome. And I think, as I predicted all week, the Thursday night football effect was obvious with San Francisco. They were not the same team in the second half on defense. And I think it was because they were a little tired. And I've told you, Thursday night football always benefits the home team. And it benefits the home team when it's Cincinnati hosting Cleveland or Pittsburgh. But it definitely benefits the home team when the road team had to fly 4 hours yesterday. And I think San Francisco got tired in the second half. I also think momentum's a very big thing in the NFL. If you watch Man in the Arena, the new Tom Brady docuseries, you see Brady talk about momentum of a game. Or we feel like we lost this one here or we lost this one there. You can feel it. Just like when the Titans started to fumble it away against the Steelers, you could feel the momentum turn. They had a lead, and you could feel the game turn. Yesterday, the Titans get the ball to start the second half. They move it, just trying to get by. Tannehill trying to find a little confidence here and there. Really didn't get his confidence back until he hit the deep ball to A.J. Brown later in the second half. But they're moving the ball down the field a little bit. They settle for a field goal. And if you're listening to the TV broadcast, which I went back this morning and watched, if you are watching the TV broadcast, early in the third quarter, Kevin Burkhardt and Greg Olson on Fox are talking about, Tannehill and Brown just don't seem like they're clicking very well. If the Titans had played a quarterback who didn't hand them the game in the first half like Jimmy did, missing a wide-open Kyle Hughes check, throwing the interception in the end zone, if the Titans didn't do that, this game may have been out of reach. It may not have mattered what A.J. Brown as Superman wanted to do. But again, Jimmy Garoppolo decided to play the role of Santa. Titans kick a field goal. Midway through the third quarter, 8 minutes to go in the third quarter, the Titans score their first points of the game. It's 10-3. Next play, Jimmy Garoppolo right into the hands of Amani Hooker. I don't know how a veteran quarterback can miss a throw like that, except for the fact that had Jimmy Garoppolo been an accurate passer in his career, he probably hits Emmanuel Sanders for a touchdown in the Super Bowl. And instead of when are they going to put in Trey Lance, we're talking about Super Bowl MVP Jimmy Garoppolo. And that's how the NFL works. Interception, Amani Hooker takes it down. Titans score a touchdown. Brand new ball game. All the momentum is with the Titans. They got confident. The defense played well. But they didn't play a great game like everybody's saying. The defense, Jimmy Garoppolo was so bad that in the first half, he threw a ball that hit Rashaan Evans in the hands and he couldn't intercept. And when I saw that play, I thought, oh no. That was such an egregious mistake by a veteran quarterback that you almost have to think to yourself, goodness gracious, if you can't catch those, you can't win this game. So he made mistakes that didn't ultimately benefit the Titans. That's how bad he was yesterday. And I want us not to lose sight of why the Titans won this game. They won the game for the same reason they didn't lose the Pittsburgh game. Or they didn't win the Pittsburgh game, excuse me. I used to always think about this. Sometimes you got to have somebody make a play. It's so easy for fans to sit there after a team wins a game and to get excited about the win and to say, oh, yeah, you got to give credit to this guy and you got to give credit to that guy and you got to give credit to the coach and you got to give credit to this one and that one. And everybody loves that, right? Like after the Buffalo game, everybody got mad at me because I was like, hold on. We need to stop giving all this credit to everybody for why they won the Buffalo game, and let's give credit where it's due to Derrick Henry. And let's not take it away from Derrick by giving it to other people. In the Pittsburgh game, I kept wondering, who's going to make a play? Is anybody going to raise their hand and say, hey, I got it? A tight end, a running back, a wide receiver, a defensive player. Anybody. Anybody going to say, with the game on the line, hey, I'm going to make a play. Deontay Foreman tried. He was the one guy. But nobody else made a play. Tannehill didn't make a play. Westbrook-Akina didn't make a play. Chester Rogers didn't make a game-winning play. None of the tight ends made a game-winning play. Nobody on defense, when there was an opportunity perhaps to make a play, made a game-winning play, an interception, a strip sack, a fumble, something. In this game, A.J. Brown put his hand up and said, I'll make the play. A.J. Brown went up and made the biggest play of the game. And I thought that it was one that the Titans, I can't remember the last time the Titans did this. But I was sitting in my seat. I saw the defensive lineman jump. And from where I was sitting in the club level, I could see Ryan Tannehill's eyes. And this got me really excited because Tannehill, as we know, has been stinking it up. But you could see Tannehill's eyes. It's a third down. They jump off sides. Tannehill steps up. You know it's a free play. What do the best quarterbacks do on a free play? Rodgers and Brady, they love to take the deep shot. And Tannehill stepped up and took that deep shot to A.J. Brown, which was essentially a 50-50 ball, just like his touchdown against the Chiefs, and A.J. went up and made the catch. Because A.J. said, you know what, I'm going to be the one to make the play. That changed the entire game. The defensive line of San Francisco was starting to tire at that point. The offensive line of the Titans, as battered and beaten as they were, and boy, they were not great yesterday. As battered and as beaten as they were, they started to get a little confidence. But really, Ryan Tannehill started to get confident after that throw down the field. If you watch the game, and I went back and rewatched it this morning, but if you rewatch it, the Titans in the first half trying a little screen pass here, run the ball a little bit there, throw it to Westbrook-Akina here, try to get it to Julio there, swing it around for A.J. here. In the second half, it was A.J., run it, A.J., run it, A.J., A.J. And that's how it should have been. Because once A.J. made that play, all of a sudden a little confidence started to come back to Ryan Tannehill. The throw he made on the touchdown, and I haven't heard anybody talk about this, the throw that he made on the touchdown to A.J. Brown was a BB in the middle of the zone in between two 49er defenders for a touchdown. That was a good throw. And I had asked you, when's the last time Ryan Tannehill made a throw that made you say, wow? The ball in the air, the jump ball for A.J., that's not a wow throw. Where you stick it in between two defenders for a touchdown, that was a wow throw. And as A.J. made that play, the entire team became more confident. The 49ers easily could have run the Titans out of the building in the first half. And they didn't because Jimmy Garoppolo wouldn't let them. This was a game about two players. It was about A.J. Brown, who was really, really good, and it was about Jimmy Garoppolo, who was really, really bad. I'm not going to get on here today and talk about how bad Jimmy G sucks because I don't watch enough Jimmy G. I also thought it was a little ridiculous listening to all the national commentators talk about Garoppolo throughout the week as if this is a different guy than we are now aware that he probably is. You know, the guy that I kept telling you, San Francisco doesn't believe in him. They went and traded 3 first-round picks to go get his replacement. So Kyle Shanahan doesn't even believe in him. So why am I supposed to believe in him? But national TV, and again, I don't think they watch these games, national TV saw, hey, the 49ers have won a bunch of games. They beat the Bengals in overtime. Jimmy must be great. Jimmy was awful. I mean, if you can play a Jimmy Garoppolo every week of the playoffs, you might win the Super Bowl. Thursday night football at home against San Francisco. And this was what killed me about the Steeler game. Really, truly irked me about the Steeler game. Was I told you all, you just needed one game, and then A.J. Brown was back. And then once A.J. Brown comes back, Derrick Henry will come back, and that's how you could get the 1 seed. And that's what the Titans needed to complete in the playoffs. If that's Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, and I'm not here to sit there and devalue the win, because it's a win, and a win is a win in the NFL. And all these losses that they've had without Derrick Henry, without A.J. Brown, all these losses that they've had, that in theory you can devalue a little bit because the Titans have 3 of their best players in A.J. Brown, Derrick Henry, and Bud Dupree. So you can say whatever you want, but if that, and I'm not devaluing this win, they had to have it, they got it. A.J. made the plays. But if that's Patrick Mahomes at quarterback in the first half, the way the Titans played, there is no comeback in the second half. This is the reality of the game. The Titans hung on, Jimmy kept them in it, and A.J. won it. And to me, there's no other subplot to that. I see all your tweets. What do you think about Tannehill now? He didn't throw for 350 yards. He wasn't perfect. Now, he didn't turn the ball over, which is important. But I kind of think the same thing that I thought of Tannehill last week, which was, if I need a great player to make you better, for you to get the team over the top, then that tells me maybe I don't need to be paying you $30 million. But again, a win is a win. And in the NFL, this is all that matters to me. This is it. All that matters to me right now is that you win. I never panicked about the division because I understand that this is a week-to-week league. Everybody will watch one game, and they'll say this team stinks or that team stinks or this team won or that team. And I told you all, just because Arizona got embarrassed last week against Detroit and Indianapolis won a home game against New England doesn't mean that Indianapolis is going to go out and beat Arizona on the road this week. It's a week-to-week league. And for the Titans, as we saw with the first Steeler game in the half, and the second Steeler game and half, and the first 49er game and half, and the second 49er game and half, it may be a half-to-half league, or at least the Titans are a half-to-half team. But finally, it was nice to have somebody in there that would raise their hand and say, hey, I'll make the play. I'll make it. Derek's not here. Defense hasn't. Now, Hooker made a play, but somebody to say, I'll make a play that puts us over the top. And finally, they got it yesterday with A.J. Brown. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. It is a Fireball Hot Take Friday. We got Caroline with us today. We'll get her connected and everything else. We'll get Caroline's thoughts on the game. Plus, we'll give out some game balls. The one thing I will say, there is one apology that I do feel like I owe. One apology. Because, like, I got 1,000 tweets yesterday that were like, are you going to apologize to this guy? You should apologize to that guy. You should this, you should that. By the way, I picked the Titans to win. And all week I was like, they'll probably win Thursday. And it was like, San Francisco's won 5 of their last 6, Jared. I'm like, yeah, they'll probably win Thursday. Thursday night football, there is an inherent bonus for the home team on Thursday night football. An unbelievable advantage on Thursday night football. Titans took advantage of it. And again, I'm not going to tell you Jimmy Garoppolo is, Jimmy stinks because I saw one game start to finish with Jimmy Garoppolo. But I'm going to tell you something. Jimmy G was awful last night. I mean, I don't know how you can look with a straight face and think, man, he was not playing for the Titans yesterday. And I don't even know what his worst mistake was. I don't know if it was the one where he threw it to, where he was trying to get it to Kittle and he just threw the ball right to Jackrabbit Jenkins. I don't know if it's the one where he missed Juszczyk on a busted coverage up the sideline and shot it 8 yards out of bounds. I don't know if it's the one where he overshot the receiver and right into the hands of Amani Hooker. I mean, unbelievable. I will say this about Tannehill's confidence. I thought it showed in the 2-minute drill. That he was kind of, now he was good. He'd been hit in the mouth a little bit. He looked like the same unconfident, terrible Tannehill that he was in Pittsburgh in the first half. And he started to get a little bit more confident. And I thought that 2-minute drill, it reminded me a lot the running play of the Kansas City game 2 years ago at Nissan Stadium, where, like this game, the Chiefs had to do everything wrong and it worked. And Tannehill had a huge scramble in the 2-minute drive on that one. 615-737-1025 is our phone number for your reactions. Hit the text line, hit the call, 615-737-1025. Merry Christmas, by the way, and happy holidays to Caroline Fenton, who is with us today. Caroline, how are you?
Hello, doing great, and Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas Eve to all who celebrate. Really fun game last night. I had a blast.
So we'll get your thoughts on it next. And we got our game balls like we always have to, 615-737-1025. And everybody out there should be thanking Jimmy Claus because Jimmy Claus brought you a gift last night. 615-737-1025. We're live from the Hillside Medical Game Studio on a Fireball Hot Take Friday. Stillman and Company. It's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
This is Ellie Tolvanen, and this is Nashville.
Tolvanen to score! Ellie Tolvanen, a laser!
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
It's the end of the year blowout sale at Social Furniture. Closing out on Ashley's Furniture with up to 70% off. First come, first served on the best selection of furniture. Social Furniture has truckloads after truckloads of furniture with 100 loads of closeouts, samples, canceled orders, and discounted orders of Ashley Furniture. All on sale here at Social Furniture. $300 nightstands now $99. $1,000 Ashley mattress now $300. $200 bar stools now for $59. $1,000 sofas now $499, and recliners starting at $299. The best part is there's no waiting. Take your new furniture home today with Social Furniture's same-day delivery. They have 12 months same as cash. Hurry up and come down to Social Furniture's end-of-the-year blowout sale before it's gone. Visit Social Furniture on the west side at 5412 Charlotte Avenue or on the web at mysocialfurniture.com.
Still working on that Christmas list? Hurry into Electronic Express for your last-minute gifts. Get huge savings with up to 50% off in every department. 4K TVs, computers, gaming, speakers and headphones, smart home, housewares, and more. That's not all. Get up to 40% off all your appliance needs. Plus, buy now, pay later with up to 36 months free financing. We've got the last-minute Christmas gifts you need at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Here we are again, Finn, stocking up for the big day at Porvu.
That's right, Jolly. 10,000 square feet of wine, spirits, and over 1,500 domestic import and craft beers with a massive array of canned cocktails. Porvu has an amazing selection.
Porvu makes it easy to stock the sleigh with everything we'll need for our holiday parties and even last-minute gift ideas.
But will it all fit in the sleigh?
Not to worry, Finn. I placed our order on the online Porvu app, and I've arranged for curbside pickup at no charge. They even offer home delivery for the rest.
What you getting for Trixie? Hard to find small batch, special selections, tequila?
Yes, Trixie loves that tequila, just like Blitzen.
That's how he got his name, huh?
Ooh, party supplies. Everything for our elf soiree. And Porvu always gives us 10% off wine by the case.
What are we getting the big guy?
Well, after a long night of flying around the world, he likes to kick back with a good stogie. Porvu has a walk-in humidor full of fine cigars.
Look, a tasting bar.
Porvu, Indian Lake Boulevard in Hendersonville.
Hey, it's Jared Stillman. Guys, are you tired of feeling old? You know that feeling. You don't have any energy. You're gaining pounds. Well, guess what? My friends at Invigorate Health are the ones to help you. They don't just focus on one area of the aging body. They take care of all of it with so many different therapies that can restore your vitality and are designed with you specifically in mind. So give them a try. Invigorate Health. If you want to feel young again, out in Mount Juliet at 615-288-4777 or invigoratehealthtn.com.
Tonight. It's the Hawaii Bowl between the Memphis Tigers and the Nevada Wolfpack.
Leads to make the catch. Touchdown, Nevada.
Coverage begins at 6
on ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, Nashville, this is Dan Lebitard. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Brown's got more catches than the rest of the team combined. 9 for 109 now. First and 10. Tannehill fires. Caught! Brown again! He's on fire!
You said how you expect these things from AJ, but for him to respond like that in his first game back, what does that maybe say about how he prepared himself?
Well, he worked hard. Worked hard with Todd and Frank. Again, everybody else that wants to fire the conditioning coach and a trainer because guys get hurt, they're also responsible for getting guys ready and to come back. But it's on AJ. We understand how important he is to our football team. Love him as a person, and glad to have him back.
There you go. Glad to have A.J. Brown back as Mike Vrabel, and I would be too. And I would say this. Here's what's funny. The Pro Bowl voting came out the other day, and we talked about this, and every year Titan fans get mad about Pro Bowl voting. I'm sure it's every team that gets mad about Pro Bowl voting, but Titan fans especially. Last year, Tannehill didn't make it. And Tannehill complained about how he wasn't in the Pro Bowl, and Titans fans were upset about Tannehill wasn't in the Pro Bowl. They took Deshaun Watson over Tannehill. And I remember saying, look, the Pro Bowl voting is a reflection of what the league thinks of you. Because the fan vote doesn't really matter that much anymore. So it's really about what does the league think of you? And the league didn't think that Tannehill was one of the 3 best quarterbacks last year in the AFC. And so Titan fans get mad. What about Simmons? And what about Landry? And what about last year the Titans had 2 Pro Bowlers, Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown. This year they had 1, Kevin Byard. The league is telling you, hey, these are the guys we think are good on the Titans. And A.J. Brown proved it yesterday. And that's why game ball, Caroline Fenton, surprise, surprise, on offense, the game ball goes to A.J. Brown. Any thoughts on that?
It should. As it should. And I know yesterday we spent a lot of time talking about, well, it kind of feels like having A.J. Brown back is almost like a non-starter because we didn't think that Tannehill was going to be able to get the ball out of his hands. I honestly thought that Tannehill was going to get clobbered on every single play because what else did we have to think? Essentially a practice squad offensive line against one of the best defensive fronts in football. But A.J. Brown, we said if A.J. Brown wants to earn his contract next year, because that's something we talked about a lot over the past few days, is the best ability is availability. And
if A.J. Brown wants to get paid, I will say this, which I think is crazy. I do believe that the Titans. Like if fans were like, what about that one to trade AJ now, Jared? And what I tell you the other day when I was like, hey, if you don't think AJ's body can hold up, which is where your doctors come into play with all this, if you don't think that AJ's body can hold up, when your doctors look at you and say, hey, it's going to be chronic knee issues, it's going to be this, his body's this, his whatever, and the Titan doctors haven't been throwing up the stop sign at third base for really anything lately. But when it is that way, if your doctors were to say that, then you want games like this because then it makes the value go up, but nobody wants to talk about it that way. Defensive game ball. This was hard for me because there were 2 interceptions, which are obviously kind of the big ones. And so you got Hooker had one, Jack Rabbit had the other. I thought Buster Screen played a great football game yesterday, moving inside, outside, inside, outside. I thought that Bud Dupree, again, I think Bud is just awesome. But I'm going to go with Monty Hooker with the game ball because that interception was a game changer, and he got a return out of it. That was the one that puts you back into the game. And so, again, I'm not sure that if you're playing Patrick Mahomes, you can expect that kind of throw. If you're playing Aaron Rodgers, that you can expect that kind of Christmas gift. But Amani Hooker did pick it off. I thought Bud Dupree certainly was deserving of discussion. I thought that Zach Cunningham could have been in the discussion a little bit. I thought that a lot of those guys could have been up for the defensive game ball, but I'm giving it to Amani Hooker.
And I think that you could...
I'm going to have Caroline check her audio there for a second. And then that takes me to my special teams game ball. And that one is going to be Randy Bullock. Because now, Kern had a beautiful punt that was down deep inside, which I thought was pretty good. Kern had one that was down pretty well. But Randy Bullock made the field goal. And my God, did he make the field goal by just a smidge. And what's crazy is where I was sitting. I sit on the side everybody, unless you're in the end zone, sits on the side. And I sit on behind the visitors bench at the 35-yard line, 40-yard line. And I'm sitting there watching this kick. And so every time there's a kick, I have to squint my eyes a little bit. And I have to look. And I have to see the ball go through the uprights. And you can't tell. There's no way to tell. So I just look at the ref. And if the ref comes out and puts his hands up and says field goal's good, then I say, okay, that one's good. If the ref says it's not good, then it's not good. But it's not like when you're watching on TV and they show you the angle behind the goal line. So after the game was over, I got home and I saw it, and I'm like, oh, my God, that was close. And so Randy Bullock gets a game ball. Now, I feel kind of bad. Here's why I feel kind of bad. Because I tweeted out before the kick that this was for the win and maybe for his career. Because if Randy Bullock had missed that kick, 44 yards, good weather, and boy, he kind of tried. If Randy Bullock had missed that kick, that probably would have been the end of his career. It probably would have, at least with the Titans. They would have been calling him into the office on Christmas Eve. And they would have been saying, Randy, we appreciate all your hard work for the last 8 weeks or however long it's been, but we've decided to go in a different direction. They'd be working guys out on Christmas Day. Hey, can you get to Nashville? We want to see you kick for us. But Randy made it. And so he gets to keep his job. After the game, I saw on SportsCenter, he was talking in the press conference about how this is the anniversary of when he lost his dad. And I'm thinking, man, I feel bad now. Talking about a guy maybe kicking for his job on the anniversary of when he loses his dad. Now, the NFL, it's a business, and it is what it is. But I do think it's good that, and this is how quickly you go from GOAT to hero. That, however many inches he cleared that left upright by, that is the difference between packing it up and finding somewhere else to go and being the toast and getting a game ball. But he did make that kick. And I wish the Titans had a little bit more of a sure thing at kicker, but this is where they are as far as kicking the ball is concerned. 615-737-1025. I have an additional game ball, by the way. Jimmy Garoppolo gets a game ball because he stunk. He was so bad yesterday. And I don't want to hear it from Titan fans that don't want to hear how bad Jimmy was, because that's the reality of how you won yesterday. These other teams, the Texans, aren't better than you. They won because Tannehill stunk that day. And you won yesterday in large part because of Jimmy's crappiness. And it's okay. It's okay to win because the other guy doesn't play well. I sometimes think that people will hear that. They'll hear like us celebrating the other guy not playing well and say, well, don't take anything away from the Titans. It was the Titans who busted a coverage and Jimmy missed Kyle Juszczyk by 10 yards. Jimmy was horrible. Jimmy, he threw the ball into the hands of Rashaan Evans, and Rashaan Evans was like, no, thank you. So Jimmy gets a game ball because he kept the Titans in it in the first half, and he brought them back in it in the second half. So Jimmy gets a complimentary game ball there. Caroline, your thoughts?
I think the biggest thing yesterday, and I think you do need to give Ryan Tannehill a little bit more credit for that game yesterday, because we have been on him the past few weeks. He didn't turn the ball over, which we said was going to be an absolute key to the game. Because if you look back at some of the Titans games of the past few weeks, they don't turn the ball over. They probably win a good bit of those games. So I'm not going to get on Ryan Tannehill.
I would say that they win every game except maybe the Patriot game. And even then, they could have won the Patriot game if they didn't turn the ball over. So
I would agree.
The turnovers. But this is my problem with giving credit to Tannehill. And I'm not trying to knock on Tannehill, and I know that people are going to think that I am. Like, Tannehill, once he got his confidence back, and he needed his confidence in that game. But he didn't get his confidence back until late in the third quarter when he threw that bomb to AJ. And that was my problem is, dude, when things aren't going your way, I don't need AJ to pick you out of it. I need you to pick you out of it. They had 55 total yards at halftime. You're not going to beat anybody if the other team's quarterback isn't playing for you. Like, I'm not trying to knock on the win, because I know people are going to be like, it's a win, Jared, celebrate the win. But this reminds me of that Buffalo game where I'm like, guys, Derek won that game for him. And Joe Retro's like, well, give Tannehill credit for how he played in the fourth quarter. And it's like, well, what about the other three? You know, with Tannehill, he throws some of these screen passes, and I don't know if it's Downing's fault for calling them or Tannehill's fault for throwing them, but he throws balls to the running backs where linebackers are standing right there just to kill the guy. And Tannehill didn't really get his confidence back until he hit the long ball to AJ. Now, the throw he made for the touchdown, when we talk about giving credit, the throw he made for the touchdown, that was a big league throw. That I will give him credit for. The 2-minute drive
was big time.
Reminded me of the Kansas City game 2 years ago when he ran for it on a third down, got the first down, hit Ferkser over the middle, hit Humphreys in the end zone for a touchdown, and you beat the Chiefs. But I'm not getting all worked up about, like, the idea of give Tannehill credit. That's my credit. That's my credit. You took the shot when you had to take the shot. AJ won the jump ball. It was a free play. That's what good quarterbacks do. You hit
and
the
25-yard run to set you up for a field goal to win the game.
Yeah, the 2-minute drill. So he gets credit for the 2-minute drill, and
yes,
he gets credit for the throw that he made to AJ in the end zone. But it's not like I'm not even thinking about giving Tannehill a game ball today.
That's fine. That's fine, because I didn't think that you necessarily would. But I think that those two plays, very much so, he deserves a pat on the back for. But, I mean, that first half, when Titans were down 10-0, I really thought, oh, this is just going to get uglier and uglier. Because in the first quarter, it seemed like any Titan with the ball, Tannehill included, that San Francisco defensive front was all over them. They were getting clobbered in the beginning of the game. But I think that the Jackrabbit interception in the end zone was so key, because that really felt like there's a huge momentum shift there where Jimmy G was getting a little shaken up. Jackrabbit got the ball, and I know that the Titans couldn't capitalize on it, but I really felt like that's where there was a bit of a momentum shift, that the Titans kind of got into their groove.
Well, the momentum shift there came from the fact that they didn't score 3 or 7 points. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
That right there.
I mean,
if
that's
it's
very easily could have been the
at that
difference in the
point,
game.
yeah, if it's 14-0 there, the game's over. Like 14-0, you're backed up. Now they're pinning their ears back. Look, San Francisco's defense got tired in the fourth quarter. Like, people don't want to admit that, but they got tired in the fourth quarter. And I was listening to Shannon Sharp today, and boy, he was just all over Jimmy. I mean, especially for the interception to Jackrabbit. Max, do we have that? Where Shannon was talking about how it's basically Jimmy G's fault that they won the game.
Jimmy G was awful. Skip that first interception that he threw to Jack Rabbit. I don't know what he saw. Jack Rabbit was playing outside leverage on Kittle, but he never moved. He didn't expand, and so when Kittle ran the little hook right inside, Jack Rabbit was right there.
So he was like the primary receiver. Yeah.
Look at this, Skip. Jack Rabbit, he stares him down.
And that's for 14-0 now, and maybe that'd be a death.
Look at Jack Rabbit.
Yeah.
Jack Rabbit says, "Oh, you throwing it to him?"
Oh, thank you. Yeah. He'll catch it.
That's at worst case scenario, Skip. That's 3 points. You're gonna get 3 out of that. You get nothing. Skip, if you didn't watch the game and you just looked at the stats this morning, you like, man, Jimmy G was 26 and 35, 333.
Yep.
With a touchdown and 2. Like, dang, they should have won. Debo had 9 for $159. But if you watch the game, a game that should have been 17-0, maybe 21-0.
Yep.
He kept the Titans in the ball game.
And I completely agree with Shannon Sharp on that. I mean, and that's where I'm like, Jimmy gets a game ball. 615-737-1025. We're to your phones next. 615-737-1025. I see the text line blowing up, so we will get those thoughts in there. And why the story of the game was the exact same as last week. We'll get to that next. Stillman and Company, a special Christmas Eve edition of a Fireball Hot Take Friday. It's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Temperatures will be warm this afternoon thanks to windy conditions, upper 60s. And for Christmas Day, a run at the record with highs in the mid-70s.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Hey, what's going on? It's Chase McCabe here to talk about my friends at BetMGM and tell you why they're the king of sportsbooks and my official sportsbook. They welcome you with a special NBA offer on Christmas Day. Simply place a $10 moneyline wager on any game, and if any team hits a three-pointer that day, you'll win $200 in free bets regardless of your bet's outcome. All you have to do is use the bonus code 1025GAME200 when you make your first bet. Plus, you'll earn M-Life rewards that you can redeem for room nights and dining at any MGM resort nationwide. Download the BetMGM app and use the bonus code 1025GAME200 to win $200 in free bets if any team hits a three-pointer on Christmas Day. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. Tennessee only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. For problem gambling support, call the Tennessee Red Line at 800-889-9789.
Do great prices and selection on trucks and SUVs still exist? They do in Truckville. Sarah Chevrolet Buick GMC of Nashville has the largest selection in Tennessee. And we keep getting fresh stock on our lots every day. We're committed to offering you our best price and a 5-star experience, which is why we're still known as the destination for trucks and SUVs. Come visit Truckville, Tennessee today in person or online at sarahnashville.com.
At Houston Clinic Orthopedics, their physicians are specialty trained orthopedists that treat injuries and disorders of the upper extremities. Not all painful conditions require surgery. Therefore, their physicians look for non-surgical solutions first. Depending on your condition, you can be treated with a brace, splint, anti-inflammatory medications, rehabilitation, or if necessary, surgery. To experience world-class orthopedic care, visit tn.houston.com, where experience matters.
Heard you're buying a car. I brought my calculator.
Dad, I already used Capital One Auto Navigator. I found my car online and got pre-qualified instantly, instead of all that.
You know those things impact your credit score.
Didn't impact my credit score, Dad. Now I'm going to the dealership for a test drive and to make the purchase.
Sounds too easy.
No, it's just easy. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms and conditions apply. Find out more at CapitalOne.com/Auto Navigator.
Robbie Stanley.
Maybe it doesn't hurt their bottom line this year. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen on that front.
Joe Rexrode.
5 guys who are on the roster are not going to be on the roster.
Get your morning started with Robbie and Rexrode every weekday from 6 to 10. Presented by Volunteer State Bank on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
This is Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving.
And there was movement. It might be a free play is what it is. Tannehill senses, going to throw it deep. A.J. Brown, he's got it! Big play down to the 30.
I can't remember the last time the Titans hit one of those. The free play flag goes up. The quarterback recognizes flag goes up. Marcus could never see the flag go up. Flag goes up, dude says screw it, and takes the shot down the field, and it hits it. That's like an Aaron Rodgers once-a-month specialty. Beautiful jump ball catch by A.J. Brown. So we will get to your phones here on a special Christmas Eve edition of Fireball Hot Take Friday. So, Caroline, I was looking at the phone lines, which are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and somebody texted and says, apologize to Dylan Radins.
I knew that was coming.
I have one apology to make.
And that is to Randy Bullock?
No, I feel bad for Randy Bullock that, if he had missed that kick, I would have wanted to cut him on the anniversary of his father dying. Now, I didn't know that it was the anniversary of his father dying, but if he had missed that kick, I'd be saying you got to cut him. I mean, that was for his career, at least with the Titans, but probably in general. 44
what is your other apology for?
You want to take a guess?
Dylan Radins?
Nope.
I didn't think so.
So we had a texter that texted in yesterday that said AJ is going to have 150 and 2 touchdowns. And I said that guy was on crack. And while AJ didn't have 2 touchdowns, he did have 146 yards. So that's the one apology on this Christmas Eve. Even though I don't celebrate Christmas, on this Christmas Eve, that's the one apology I'm willing to make. Everybody out there that wants me to apologize to Dylan Radins, guys, Dylan Radins had a Jameel Douglas level performance yesterday. Jameel Douglas is a practice squad player. Tyler Merritt's had a better performance in a spot start at tackle. Now, if Dylan Radins can go out there against the Dolphins and the Texans and in the playoffs and block at left tackle, then maybe we'll do some talking.
Well,
but
if Taylor was healthy, Dylan Radins is not getting out there to prove himself against the Texans and the Dolphins.
Did you hear what Vrabel's? So I was driving home last night, and Mike Keith asked Vrabel, what'd you think of Dylan Radins out there? And Vrabel was like, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he was like, it was just so awesome to see him be a part of such a team victory. And to stand there by the locker room door and see the excitement on his face to know that he was a part of our win today. And I literally laughed. And then today he was asked about Radins and said essentially the same thing. And finally Paul Kaharski asked him, was like, are we doing too much back padding for the second rounder? And then Vrabel kind of, stood up and had to defend Radins a little bit. And I was just kind of laughing Vrabel was given the opportunity to say, hey, what'd you think about Radins? Oh, man, he really stepped up. And he didn't do it. And, I mean, again, Jameel Douglas had a performance at right guard against the Browns a couple years ago. The Titans beat the Browns the first week of the season. And Jameel Douglas was a practice squad level guy who started at right guard because Kevin Pamfield got hurt and Nate Davis got hurt. And so Jameel Douglas starts. And Vrabel at the podium the day after the game, Jameel Douglas was great. Jameel Douglas got a game ball. Jameel Douglas this, Jameel Douglas that. The next week against the Colts, Danico Autry absolutely ate his lunch. The next week against Calais Campbell and the Jags on Thursday Night Football, it was to the point to where they decided they had to play Nate Davis even though the guy had never practiced because they couldn't keep Jameel Douglas out there. That was, in my opinion, from Radins, not to knock him because he wasn't horrendous. He falls down too much. He got called for a chop block, and he just fell down. And it's like, stay on your feet, bro. I will say this, though.
But he wasn't horrendous. I do have to say it might be the nicest thing that you've ever said about Dylan Radins.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't horrendous. But neither were the other guys.
He was not horrendous.
But neither were the other guys, and we know they stink. Like Quessenberry, oh, my God, Quessenberry is so awful. And he made the best holding play I have ever seen in the NFL. Because where I was sitting on the far side, Tannehill had his back turned to the right side and was getting ready to throw the ball. And Nick Bosa was going to kill him. And, I could see it coming, and I could see Tannehill couldn't see it. And I was like, oh, no. And Nick Bosa was coming, around the back, like he was going to kill him. And then they showed the replay on the Jumbotron, and Quessenberry, after having gotten beat, just kind of grabbed the back of Bosa's jersey just to hold him up a little bit so that he couldn't get to Tannehill, like admitting defeat, but I'm not going to let you kill the quarterback and possibly fumble the football.
Which
and
I'm
I was
fine
like,
with.
that was a great holding call. Like, that was a great decision to hold Nick Bosa. And, fans are like, oh, God, penalty. And like, no. That was
That's fine.
Penalty or 80% chance of a turnover and your quarterback goes to the hospital. I'll take the penalty. That one I was okay with. But no, I think Raiden stinks. What do we have in our text line? 615-737-1025. Phone lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Joe from Maryland texts in response to our discussion about Tannehill and said, I had people saying Tannehill got this team to 10 wins. And I went back through the games, and Tannehill has personally won one game. Maybe. It's either been Derek, the defense, or A.J. Brown.
Yeah, I mean, Derek won this team. I mean, this is the thing that's tough, is going into the season, it's like easy to talk about, where you say, okay, let's take a team with a good quarterback in the NFL. Green Bay. Remember when Aaron Rodgers broke his collarbone and Brett Hundley had to start at quarterback and Green Bay was terrible and didn't make the playoffs? Because I remember that. That was like 4 years ago. And guess what? Green Bay's not very good if Aaron Rodgers is out. Yeah, they got some nice defensive players, and Devontae Adams is an okay player, but they're not very good. The best team that I've ever seen in my entire life was the 2007 New England Patriots. Tom Brady was league MVP. They had Randy Moss, Wes Welker, an incredible defense. They were 18-0, and they lost to the Giants in the Super Bowl. And even though I was rooting for the Giants in that Super Bowl, deep down inside, I think it was a travesty to the game of football that the Giants won that Super Bowl, because that was the best team I have ever seen. The next year, they bring most of that team back. Tom Brady tears his ACL in the first 5 minutes of the season opener, and Matt Castle becomes the quarterback, and they don't even make the playoffs. So when we talk about Derrick Henry, and Titan fans get all worked up about the idea of how dare anybody say that Jonathan Taylor should be MVP if they wouldn't say that about Derrick last year. Well, you're talking about a list of guys that if you're not on your team's not very good. Peyton Manning gets hurt in Indianapolis. They're the worst team in the league. So all these wins, for the most part, have been about Derrick or playing a terrible opponent like Urban Meyer in Jacksonville 5 minutes before he gets fired, or the defense in Bud Dupree. And I will not let any Bud Dupree slander continue from the text line. When Bud got his sack yesterday, I tweeted out, take that text line, because for some reason
been so much praise to players who I honestly don't necessarily think deserve it. Like after some of the games when texters text in and they're like, Ryan Tannehill deserves all the praise when he turned the ball over 4 times. But I have never seen more animosity toward a player who is a playmaker and a difference maker than Bud Dupree. The
it's
text
ridiculous.
line can't stand Bud Dupree. And I understand in his first few games, he didn't put up sexy stats. He didn't have, 4 sacks a game, but he is such a difference maker. And if you can't see that from the games that he was out versus the games that he was in, then you're blind. The hate toward Bud Dupree is so unfair.
What drives me crazy is the same people that get worked up about Bud Dupree and call him overrated are the same people that after every play is like, well, what about Simmons, Jared? What about Simmons? I'm like, Simmons is so much better in these games that Bud Dupree plays. And not taking anything away from Simmons, but Bud is, if this were baseball, Bud is a middle of the order bat. I mean, he is. And so when he got that sack yesterday, I was like, take that text line. By the way, Ian says that Josh in White House is the guy who I owe the apology to, and that he also won the Music City Bowl tickets apparently for one of these, these trivia questions I've been doing.
He
about our
deserves
show.
those tickets.
So he won the Music City Bowl tickets. I don't know which one he won. The one yesterday was Chris Sanders and his coin toss, fetish. But but I do feel like, I owe that guy an apology. Quentin Nelson's got COVID. He's out tomorrow for the Colts. I'm just saying. Everybody thought, oh, well, now the Colts aren't going to lose in Arizona because Arizona just got beat by the Lions. Week-to-week league, folks. Week-to-week league. What else is in the text line?
Another texter texts in and says, another texter who I don't think we owe an apology to, but texter says, I was the one who texted yesterday saying Tannehill would have to throw for 300 yards, and you said it was impossible. I get he didn't throw for that many, but he was still the reason why we won.
They had 55 yards of total offense at halftime. Like, I mean, come on. Like, I know he didn't throw for 300 yards, but he could have thrown for 300. No, he couldn't. And that's not how this team wins. They do not win throwing for 300 yards. But he was never going to get to 300 yards after the way they played in the first half. Like, that was never going to happen. I mean, this is the thing about football games that I kind of laugh at, is football, there's a lot of momentum and things of that magnitude, but the game can get away from you. Like when the Titans played the Patriots, the final score looked a lot worse than the competitiveness of the two teams. That if they played again the same day, if they played again, I wouldn't. What was the final score? 36-13? Patriot game?
I think it was 36-13. I don't know off the top of my head. Something along those lines, yeah.
I think it was 36-13. You're going to look at that and say, blowout. That was not a blowout.
No,
but the game got
Titans
away
were very
from the
much so in
Titans.
that game.
Yeah, the game got away. 16-point game, so it's a two-possession game. You have to go for it deep in your territory late in the fourth quarter. They don't get it. New England scores in the next play, so it looks like a huge blowout. But it wasn't a blowout. It was a competitive game. And if Jimmy G doesn't just give the ball to the Titans, that's probably 14-0 in the first half. They probably score again. And now you're chasing it. Now Tannehill's dropping back every play. And the threat of the run game, which on the touchdown drive was big, the one where they end up scoring with Foreman, they ran the ball with McNichols effectively. They ran it with Foreman effectively for a touchdown. 14-0, 17-0 early if that's the case. Now you're passing every play. Now you're dropping back. Now Dylan Radins is on an island because 5 guys are going out into the pattern. Dylan Radins is on an island by himself, and David Quessenberry's on an island by himself, and that game would have gotten completely out of hand. And in all fairness, I don't feel like the Titans caused any of Jimmy's mistakes. I don't feel like the Titans caused the Jackrabbit interception. You heard we played the Shannon Sharp clip. I don't think they caused the Jackrabbit interception. I don't think they caused the Hooker interception. He just overthrew Deebo Samuel. They obviously didn't cause the missed throw to Juszczyk on the sidelines, which that may have been the worst mistake Jimmy made all day. You got Kyle Juszczyk, a fullback that just gets behind Kevin Byard and is just standing there all by himself, and he overshoots it by 10 yards. And then the ball that he threw right into the hands of Rashaan Evans. I mean, those were unforced errors that Jimmy gave you that kept the game close. So this team, you don't want Tannehill throwing for 300 yards. And so to say, like, hey, Tannehill was because of this, you won because of quarterback play last night, but it wasn't your quarterback play. I had some guy on Twitter that said, can't you enjoy this quarterback play? And I said, no, the quarterback play I'm enjoying is Jimmy G's. And this guy didn't understand the context of it, I guess, because he was like, how could you say that? He just threw 2 picks. And I'm like, yeah, like that's why I'm enjoying Jimmy's horrendous quarterbacking, because that's Jimmy. And that's, I'm a Titan fan, so that's what I expect out of Jimmy.
That's things you like to see.
Yes. I enjoy it when the other team's quarterback absolutely stinks. Just like how Ben, let's be real. I got a thought on this. We'll do this on the other side. 615-737-1025, and we're back to your phones. Chad Withrow later today, Corey Curtis later today, loaded show, Titans all day today, because it is essentially a Titans Monday on a Fireball Hot Take Friday. 615-737-1025. Happy holidays, by the way, out there to everybody. We work, though, on the holidays, because a funny story that I don't really have time for, but I'm going to tell it anyways. A funny story I remember as a kid, when the Titans were kind of in a similar spot that they are now, second, third-ish in the AFC, and they were competing. Pittsburgh was pretty good then, and Oakland ended up going to the Super Bowl, and they beat the Titans in the AFC title game. And Deion Sanders decided that he wanted to get back into football. And there was all this drama as to who was going to claim Deion. And it ended up being the Chargers. But I think the waiver claim was awarded on Christmas Eve, and I remember sitting by the radio waiting for them to say if the Titans were awarded the claim on Deion Sanders. And so today I think about it. There was a game yesterday, and I know people have their Christmas Eve plans and things like that, but I remember me, Jewish kid, just wanting to hear about the Titans. So I like working on this day, especially given the fact that they had a game yesterday, so that we could talk about the Titans, because there's got to be somebody out there that wants to hear about last night's game. So I'm glad we're a part of it, and I'm glad you're listening on a Fireball Hot Take Friday. Hey, Silly Underdog Picks. Play Silly Underdog Picks. Pick 3 underdog teams you think will win. For your chance to win tickets to an upcoming sporting event or concert, go to thegamenashville.com for more details and to play. That's Silly Underdog Picks, presented by Volunteer Hose and Gasket. Stillman and Company. It's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
The voice of reason.
Now, you may say, well, a quarterback is more important than a running back. That's fine. You can say whatever you want.
The voice of the fan.
Even if we have to develop him while he's playing, I just want a boring first-round pick.
The voice of Nashville sports is your home of Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Closer, bolder, golden. Nashville SC Stadium is arriving in 2022, and season tickets are on sale now. With just 150 feet between the pitch and the last row, you'll be right there in the action no matter where you sit. If you thought soccer in Nashville was a party already, you ain't seen nothing yet. So come on in, grab a seat, and stay a while as we open a new era of Nashville sports. For more information on season tickets at the new Nashville SC Stadium, visit nashvillesc.com/22 ticks.
BetOnline.net still has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before as football continues its march through the College Bowl season and the Pro Football Playoffs. BetOnline.net remains the best spot for all your sports info, podcasts, and news this season. And it's not just football. BetOnline.net has up-to-the-minute info on pro and college hoops, NHL, boxing, UFC, along with live, real-time updates of current games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2022 season. BetOnline.net, where the game starts.
Touchdown, Boilermakers! Witness tomorrow's NFL stars this month at the TransPerfect Music City Bowl.
First down, hand off, tailback, right up the middle to the 30.
He's out of here.
20, to the 10, crank up Rocky Top. Touchdown, right up the middle.
Don't miss a second as Tennessee and Purdue, two of college football's top programs, go head-to-head on Thursday, December 30th at 2 p.m. inside Nissan Stadium. For more information on this year's game, including ticket availability, visit MusicCityBowl.com. Presented by the Tennessee Lottery.
Hey, it's Jared for TriStar Moving. If you're looking to move, you need to give my friends at TriStar Moving a call. At TriStar Moving, you'll get 5-star service throughout the entire process. Everything will be taken care of, from covering your floors, banisters, railings, front door thresholds, furniture, TVs, and more. They took great care of my move and made it as stress-free as possible. If you're looking to move, give TriStar Moving a call, 615-640-1219, or visit them at nashvillemoving.org/radio and get 5% off your entire move. TriStar Moving, my official movers.
In 2007, Marine First Lieutenant Travis Manion was killed in Iraq after saving his wounded teammates. Travis's legacy lives on through the words he spoke before his final deployment. If not me, then who? Words that today fuel the spirit of Travis Manion Foundation. And through TMF, these words can live in you too. Show the world what you're made of, because character is invisible until it's not. Find out how you can strengthen the character of your community alongside empowered veterans, families of the fallen, and inspired civilians at travismanion.org.
What are your 2022 business goals? Simplified IT? More security? Dell Technologies has the expertise to help you, from transforming your digital workspaces to providing comprehensive end-to-end IT solutions. Get high-performance computers featuring Windows 11 Pro with powerful hardware-based security and savings up to 45% during Dell's New Year event sale. Get special financing through Dell Financial Services. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Nashville's best sports talk, locally owned, home of our Nashville Predators. WPRT-FM Pegram, 97.5 Murfreesboro, WBUZ HD2 Laverne, online at thegamenashville.com. We are
ESPN
102.5 The Game. Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving, ESPN 102.5 The Game, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Fireball Hot Take Friday. Caroline Fenton, you just texted me and said we got all these texts. People blowing up the text line today.
That's our gift from the texters. Our Christmas gift.
You know, when you
is angry texters in the text line. Merry Christmas.
When you work on a holiday, you don't know how many people are going to listen. And I work on a lot of holidays. I work on Labor Day every year. I work on Black Friday every year. And now I'm working on Christmas Eve. And I do it because, honestly, I'd rather spend more time at the beach during the summer. And we got all this football to talk about, and it's a reaction day. And so you don't know how many people are listening or not listening or whatever. So I want to thank everybody for listening today after what was an incredibly enjoyable game last night. I went with two guys I went to college with. One of them was a 49er fan. He had a 49er towel that he bought when the 49ers played the Bengals, and it said "Bang Bang Niner Gang," and I have no idea what that means, and neither does he.
Is that a thing?
Bang Bang
like
Niner
a 49ers
Gang
thing, like a terrible towel?
I guess it was a red towel, and it said "Bang Bang Niner Game," so whatever.
I guess that could be anything. Bang Bang Titan Gang. Like,
that is
insert team here.
Bang Bang Predator Gang, whatever.
Woohoo!
So anywho, it's funny because a lot of people, I'm sure, and we will get to your text, we'll get to your calls. I'm sure a lot of people in the text line are saying, "You got to give Tannehill credit, Jared." Fair?
Yes.
Okay.
Very fair. And
let
Dylan
me ask you a
Ravens.
question. How much credit do we give Ben Roethlisberger for winning that game on Sunday against the Titans?
Very little, if at all.
Okay, why don't we give
because
Ben
the
any
Titans
credit?
handed him the game.
Okay. So why do I have to give Tannehill credit?
I think because Tannehill didn't do what we've been getting on him for so many weeks, and that's turn the ball over.
So we should give credit to the $30 million quarterback for being able to accept the center exchange, unlike last week.
We can acknowledge the fact that he did not turn the ball over, and that's a good thing.
So my point, I think these two games were incredibly similar. I think the exact same way you lost the Steeler game is exactly how you won the Niner game. Floyd used to always talk about this being about turnovers. This is all it is turnovers. And so I hear the sentiment of, hey, Tannehill didn't turn it over, Jared. What do you think? Like, yeah, that's like Jimmy G's not supposed to throw the ball to Jack Rabbit Jenkins in the end zone. Jimmy G's not supposed to overshoot Deebo Samuel for, 10 yards and throw it right into the arms of Amani Hooker. He's not supposed to do that. So if I'm going to give Tannehill credit for yesterday, then we've got to give Ben credit for Sunday. But I don't think any of us are willing to give Ben credit for Sunday because Ben doesn't deserve a lot of credit for Sunday. Now, I will say this. TD brought this up yesterday during the TD Power Hour, which was that Ryan Tannehill was playing without that cockiness that we used to see of Tannehill, the confidence, where he'd stand in there and deliver a strike.
And
for the first 3 quarters, he really didn't play with that until he hit the deep ball to A.J. that A.J. went up to go get. Then he had it. The 2-minute drive was so different than last week's 2-minute drive. Tannehill felt in command in the 2-minute drive this week as opposed to the 2-minute drive against the Steelers. Now, they're different defenses, different teams, whatever. But Tannehill played fine yesterday. I still cannot stand when he throws the ball to the backs when they're clearly covered out of the backfield on a screen and then you lose 6 yards. It drives me crazy. Tannehill threw for like 20 yards at halftime. But I'm not going to take anything away from him. I just don't feel like why we have to, get on our knees and pray to Tannehill for the performance that he had yesterday, which by most quarterback standards was okay. And not only that, if you were struggling in school, let's say chemistry, right? You're struggling in chemistry. I was not a great science student at USN. I'm struggling in chemistry, and we've got a big project, and Caroline's my partner on the project, and we get an A. We get an A on our project. I'm a C student. We just got an A on our project. Where would you give most of the credit?
Probably me.
Okay. So you can't do anything right. A.J. Brown comes back. Now I got to give Tannehill credit?
I think there is a different way of looking at it where, we're not starting with Tannehill from just, zero. Because there's a difference between giving Tannehill credit because of the game. Let's say hypothetically Tannehill completely won that game for the Titans. That you can give Tannehill credit for that. And there's another way that you can look at it. You can say, okay, Jared's a C student in science and he got an A on this, and he got a B minus on this test. He got an 80%, which if you're an A student, that's not great. But if you're a C student, that's progress. That's better. You're not making the same mistakes that you made in the past. You did better than you did in the past. So I'm not saying that we need to, all praise Tannehill for that performance last night, but we can at least acknowledge the fact that he didn't make some of the mistakes that we've seen him be making. And maybe that's because of the return of AJ Brown. If so, great. It's great to have AJ back, but I think we can at least acknowledge the fact that there were stupid decisions that Tannehill has made in the past that he did not make last night. He was turning the football over a lot, and it was concerning. He didn't do that last night. So I think that's why I'm giving Tannehill credit, because we're not starting from net zero.
I mean, I don't want to turn this into like a knocking Tannehill, because Tannehill didn't do anything egregiously awful yesterday.
Which is good.
But this is a guy who this time last year, there were discussions about, was he snubbed from the Pro Bowl? Was he snubbed from the Pro Bowl? Now, you know what, Jared? He didn't turn the ball over. Give him credit. It's like, if you
That's
were
what
Visa.
we're dealing with at this point.
If you were Visa, and a guy who normally has a 720 credit score doesn't pay any of their bills, and so you can't give them a credit card, then they pay one bill, you're supposed to say, okay, yeah, now give them a credit card? Look, Tannehill did what he was supposed to do.
That's not the same thing.
We are congratulating a $30 million quarterback for not turning the ball over. You want me to pat him on the back for going out there? We're not patting Ben on the back.
I'm not throwing a parade.
That's what the text line is demanding that I do.
King Tannehill for not turning the ball over, but I think we can at least acknowledge it.
Is that not what the text line is doing?
The text line is saying give Tannehill credit. And there was a texter that said we've gotten a few texts that say that Tannehill won the game for the Titans last night.
I mean, let's not get carried away. We didn't say Ben won that game on Sunday. Let's not say. What do you think happened more? Tannehill won the game for the Titans, or Jimmy G lost the game for the 49ers?
Jimmy G lost the game for the 49ers.
I don't even
because
think
he
it's
turned
close.
the ball over.
And not only just turned it over, I mean, egregiously turned it over.
I mean, made stupid decisions.
I'll be honest with you guys. I don't watch a lot of 49er football, and I'm not going to change that. And I'm not going to lie to you and pretend that I, watched 49er tape like other people in Nashville who are so desperate to, whatever. So
not on Christmas.
I did not. It's Eve. I did not watch. I don't watch 49ers. If they're on Red Zone and they come up, I'll watch it. They played the Colts in one game, and Jimmy was awful, but it was a monsoon. But I watched this game, and I'm like, okay, now I know why they drafted a quarterback in the first round. Now I know why. It isn't just that Jimmy missed a wide-open Emmanuel Sanders in the Super Bowl. It's because they look at Jimmy. Remember what I talked about with Tannehill and getting a divorce earlier in the week? When it's like, if you can look at him and say, hey, we can't win with you, then you got to make a move. That's what San Francisco did. San Francisco looked at him, and they're like, we can't win with you. And after watching last night, now I know why San Francisco feels the way that they feel. Let's go back to your phones. 615-737-1025. Our phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com on a Fireball Hot Take Friday. Chris from Titans and Truth has called into the program. Thank you for calling on a Fireball Hot Take Friday. Happy holidays to you, Chris, and you go ahead.
Hey, well, Merry Christmas to you and Merry Christmas to you, Caroline. Just wanted to make a few points. Now, I'm going to go along a little bit with the text line. Give Tannehill some love. Why? Because I was about ready to turn on him, and I'm going to eat a little crow. Also, even though it's only one game, but you're only as good as the last game that you played, Dylan Raiders was decent. He held up. No sack by Bosa, even though some other guys did some things. I mean, I think he did all right for his first game. I'll say that. I can actually call Jim Norris Jackrabbit for a moment because he made a nice play. Bud Dupree back-to-back games with a sack. And Todd Downing, I mean, one
he
good half of
stinks.
football.
No. Downing stinks, Chris.
I agree. I agree with you. Downing does stink. And I am not overly impressed. I need to see more consistency. And for one thing, even though I know you cannot stand Julio, even though AJ had 16 targets and nobody else had over 3, throw Julio the freaking ball. I'm thinking they can scheme him up for that. That's all I'm saying.
Chris, happy holidays. Appreciate your call. I am not, I mean, I don't care about Julio anymore. Am I supposed to?
I think that a lot of Titans fans realized last week that he doesn't do anything, doesn't contribute anything to this team. And I think that a lot of Titans fans realized that a couple weeks after maybe we did. And I think that we learned that Seahawk game is the exception and not the rule with Julio Jones.
So when people talk about the injuries the Titans have had, they lump Julio into like that discussion. Like they've done this with
Derrick Henry, AJ Brown, Julio
AJ
Jones.
Brown. But like, no. It's not 5 big injuries, it's 4. Derrick Henry, AJ Brown, Bud Dupree, and David Long Jr. And Julio doesn't belong with those guys. He is Tajay Sharp. And the thing that I'll appreciate about Tannehill is that Tannehill got to a point in the second half once he got his confidence back a little bit where it was like, screw you guys. Like, screw everybody else. The ball's going to number 11. And he just fed the big dog. And I like that. Give Michael the ball. We don't need Bill Cartwright taking jump shots. Give it to Michael. And that's what I felt like they did yesterday with A.J. Brown that I liked. Downing, because he brought up Downing. Caroline, this game was the moment of truth for me. I think Downing sucks. I mean, his play calling. He has no feel for the game. And I'm one of these guys who I think I can objectively look at the team that I cover, which also happens to be the team that I root for. I can objectively look to them, and I can say, when they win a game, hey, here's where you should, feel really good about. Here's what you shouldn't. Downing, I mean, he's got no feel. Like, he's got no feel. Like, I think he spends too much time deciding during the week what's going to work in a game. And then once you get into the game, he starts to operate through that. And it's like, I thought on Thursday that this play would work, so let's call it now on Sunday. And he just dials up these screen passes. How many screens are they going to throw where a 49er linebacker is just standing in the backfield? They run this jet sweep to A.J., who's not a speed guy. They run a jet sweep to A.J., and Fred Warner just shoots the gap and just crushes him in the backfield. I felt like Downing had no rhythm yesterday in his play calling, and I don't think Downing does anything that surprises the other team. I don't think there's anything that surprises the other team from him. I was really down on Todd yesterday. That was one where I'm looking at the whole game, and I'm like, they won in spite of your play calling yesterday, and whatever game plan you developed, that one drove me nuts. So he brought up Downing, and I'm like, no, we're not going there with Downing. We want to give a lot of people some credit. You want to give Jack Rabbit credit because he caught the ball, Jimmy threw right to him, sure. But no, we are not giving Downing credit today. Fair?
Very fair. And I think that one thing that I was really looking for last night, especially after the Steeler game, whenever he had Tannehill throw to Nick Westbrook-Akina, 4 yards, 5 yards, whatever it was, short of the sticks. That's what I was looking out for last night. How many times did Todd Downing call a play on third down where it was a passing play short of the first down? Why are you doing that? I understand that Tannehill doesn't have, a arm of steel, but what are you doing? Why are we calling plays short of the sticks? Get the first down. Commit to a passing play.
Oh, it was awful. It was awful. Now, I didn't mind like some of the running stuff that they did. But once they got the run working, they just went away from it. And I was like,
that's what they do every time. The run is working. There might be one play where it's not necessarily advantageous, and he gets spooked and he calls a passing play. Commit to the run. Run the ball. That's what this team does best, with or without Derrick Henry. This is a running team.
Zach is up next on Ryan Tannehill. Thank you for waiting. Happy holidays to you, Zach. Go ahead.
Hey, man. So I just want to say, first off, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I will say three things, and I'll be quick. Tannehill, I wouldn't be asking you to give him praise, just some respect, because that 25-yard run did win the game. I will say that. Also, the whole praising him for just not getting turnovers thing, it's amazing what he can do when he has his weapon on the field. So, yeah, we're at a place where we have to praise him for not getting turnovers, but that's somewhat a product of not having those weapons and having to throw to the likes of Westbrook Akina for long passes. Secondly, Downing, I agree with you. The first half was just miserable play calling. Like he was scared to call plays because of the whole Radens and the Saffold and Bosa situation. And then the last third thing is to give props to Radens because Bosa actually switched sides last night after not having some success on the right side. Radens just didn't have the best game, but he didn't have a bad game, which is way more than I was asking for. So I'll hang up. Merry Christmas, guys.
Yep, thank you for your call. Radens didn't have a horrible game. Now, I did see that. I did notice that at the start of the second half, they put Bosa on Radens, and then like the third series of the second half, they put him back on Quessenberry. I think that honestly says more about Quessenberry. Like, Bosa lines up on the right side. So now he'll line up wherever he wants to line up, but he normally lines up on the right side, which is Quessenberry. And I think it's two things. One, I think he just wanted to go back to his normal side. The other thing is, if you had to ask me which tackle played better yesterday, Radens played better than Quessenberry. But that tells you more about how worried I am of Quessenberry. But, I mean, look, Radens had, for a first start where everybody was worried that was going to ruin the game, he didn't ruin the game. That's the one thing that I will say about Radens.
Which is much better than what you expected a couple days ago.
Much better than what I expected. Now, again, Jameel Douglas got a game ball in his first start, and we remember how in starts 2, 3, and 4, that was enough for us with Jameel Douglas. And I caution you on, Tyler Merritz came up off the practice squad and had a similar start. And then he got cut and was never to be seen again. This guy's a second-round pick. What were his other points? I can't remember. 615-737-1025. We're back to your phones on this Christmas Eve. 615-737-1025, which is our phone number here on the program. We will get your thoughts on Todd Downing as well. And then also, a thought I have about the Titans that I do wonder about the fans and maybe just getting a little too carried away. We will discuss that coming up next right here on Stillman and Company. Focus is naturally caffeinated sparkling water with a spark. So if you're looking for an energy drink that you want to be your energy drink, you got to get with Focus. That's right, Focus, P-H-O-C-U-S, online at drinkfocus.com. Use promo code GAME, G-A-M-E, at checkout, and you have it delivered to your door with 15% off your first order. Plus, they are now carried at Publix. And I'm telling you all right now, Focus is going to become a big thing. So if you're a coffee drinker, but you don't like what it does to your teeth, or if you don't want to do the diet soda thing, or you don't want to do, the energy drinks with the crazy calories, you need to try Focus. And because I'm in the mood of being Santa Claus today, we got a great little stocking stuffer package right here from Focus. This one right here, if you're looking at the stream, I've got the mixed berry, which I'm sure is very, very good. I've got the yuzu and lime Focus for all their different flavors. We've got blood orange. We've got peach. I feel like I'm on Price is Right now. We got peach. We got a bunch of different, what is this pink one right here? The pink one, grapefruit. We got grapefruit. All of them have 75 milligrams of that natural tea caffeine, so it's not, anything that's going to get you all bent out of shape and crazy, and it's not going to be bad for you as well. So it's a naturally energizing, please stop that. It's a naturally energizing, brain-focusing, taste-tantalizing hydrator that combines simple ingredients to create the perfect guilt-free pick-me-up that your body will crave. Again, drinkfocus.com for more. And again, it makes a great pick-me-up for you or a stocking stuffer as well. Find it at your local Publix. That's Focus, P-H-O-C-U-S, drinkfocus.com.
Tune in to Stillman and Company every Friday at 5 o'clock.
I am glad to be on this show.
To hear from Nashville sports media personality Chad Withrow of Outkick 360.
He's 6'4", he's 260 pounds, he runs 21 miles per hour.
Brought to you by Apple Collision Centers.
This could be the best game of the weekend between these two teams.
Withrow joins Stillman and Company Fridays at 5.
Happy to join you guys every Friday.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Men, what if I told you that now you're able to get testosterone replacement therapy in the comfort of your own home? No more weekly trips to the doctor's office. We come to you 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. Be seen by a licensed medical professional in the privacy and comfort of your own home or office. You decide. Schedule your appointment today at CoolSpringsMDformen.com.
It's the end of the year blowout sale at Social Furniture. Save up to 70% off Ashley Furniture. Social Furniture has truckloads of the best selection of furniture. Get your nightstands, mattresses, bar stools, sofas, and recliners. All on sale now. Come first for the best selection of furniture before it's gone. And you don't want to miss out. Visit Social Furniture on the west side at 5412 Charlotte Avenue. On the web at mysocialfurniture.com. Social Furniture is a proud supporter of your Nashville Predators.
Do great prices and selection on trucks and SUVs still exist? They do in Truckville. Sarah Chevrolet Buick GMC of Nashville has the largest selection in Tennessee. And we keep getting fresh stock on our lots every day. We're committed to offering you our best price and a 5-star experience, which is why we're still known as the destination for trucks and SUVs. Come visit Truckville, Tennessee today in person or online at sarahnashville.com.
Response to Genesis Diamond's fantastic 12 days finance offer was incredible, so we've decided to extend it through Christmas Eve. Last-minute shoppers, we're taking care of you at Genesis. You can come in now and get 5 years, zero-interest financing on any holiday purchase. All fashion jewelry is included, all colored gemstone jewelry, and yes, all diamond jewelry, including engagement rings. Get a $12,000 designer ring with a GIA center diamond and pay just $200 a month with zero down. Or watch her eyes sparkle when she sees that $6,000 pair of diamond earrings you got for just $100 a month. At Genesis Diamonds, celebrating love is our specialty, and there's no better time than the holidays to let us help you show your love in a meaningful way. Don't miss this special extended 5-year zero-interest finance offer, now through Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas from Genesis Diamonds. Green Hills and Cool Springs. On approved credit, see store for details.
Interact with Stillman and Company. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
But I wasn't overly impressed with what I saw last night from the Tennessee Titans. I think that was more of a gift. Give them credit. I know they're going to play hard. I know they're going to fight to the end, and they're going to be in a lot of games because their defense is pretty good. I like their defense. They can get after the quarterback with Bud Dupree and Greg Landry. Bayard on the back end does a great job of taking the ball away. But I believe that Tennessee can do to Kansas City what they did the first time around? I don't.
There you go. Shannon Sharp says he was not impressed today on Fox Sports 1 with the Titans. By the way, Greg Landry is a former coach and quarterback in the NFL. Look, it happens the older you get. I'm not going to dog Shannon too much. Shannon says not impressed with the Titans. Caroline, what do you think?
I mean, you've said it that Jimmy G lost that game more than the Titans won that game. I'm not going to say that I'm not impressed because, I mean, what A.J. Brown did last night was impressive. It was first game back. I mean, he caught for 140-something yards. It's one of his top 3 games of the season. I'm not going to say that I'm not impressed by that. But we can't spend all show long saying that Jimmy G lost that game more than the Titans won that game and say that I'm going to be, overly impressed. The Rams game, I was incredibly impressed by the Titans. I think there were some good things last night. I think there were some not so great things last night. So I'm not going to say I'm overly impressed, but I'm not impressed.
I think it's probably fair. I would argue that I'm not really all that impressed. I think the one thing I would say is that A.J. Brown proved that he's one of the top players in the league. That's the thing about these games. Anybody can have one good game. But when your team needs you, the guy that's going to raise their hand in the air and say, hey, I'll take over this game for the team. those are the best players in the league. And last year you had 2 Pro Bowlers, Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown. This year you have 1, Kevin Byard. Now, I'm still waiting for Byard to take over more games more consistently, but he's done it. He took over a game against Cleveland one time with 3 interceptions. He took over the Rams game with his pick 6. That's what the top players in the league can do, is they can take over games. That's why I always laugh. Like Corey Dillon, when he was a running back in Cincinnati, they won like 4 games a season when he was there, and he won all 4 of them, where it was like, all right, guys, I'll carry us. And so I'm impressed with the performance AJ had, and I'm impressed with the fact that the Titans' defense, didn't give in, but the defense could have played better. They could have tackled better. I thought Christian Fulton had a horrendous game last night. I thought Rashaan Evans dropped a ball that Jimmy G just put right in his hands. But, to Shannon's point, give the defense credit, and the Titans will play hard. And they did play hard. But all the other, give them credit, I'm not there today. And I do think that this was more about San Francisco. This reminds me of Floyd saying all the time that more games are lost than they're won. And we'll get into this. Let's not forget, Thursday night football is just a ginormous advantage for the home team. Like, I would love to go through Thursday night football over the last 5 years and take out every game that is not played by like the Jets, the Browns, and the Bengals. Like the teams that have to play one Thursday game, but they're your typical losers on a year in and year out basis. Like the Lions always lose at home on Thanksgiving, but that's because the Lions stink. Thursday night football is very advantageous for the home team. And I think that played a part in it yesterday. I'll get you my theory on that in a little bit. 615-737-1025. Phone line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. What do we have in the text line?
Matt from Paris texts in and says, so the Titans have beaten Russell Wilson before they crumbled, Carson Wentz twice, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Matthew Stafford, and for some reason the self-proclaimed experts think Jimmy Garoppolo is terrible. Maybe the Titans had something to do with his performance.
So let's take Carson Wentz out of this equation because Carson Wentz is not, like, I think Carson and Jimmy are the same. You know what I mean?
In what way?
Like, they're starting quarterbacks in the NFL, and they're better than Case Keenum. But they're not like, Carson Wentz is not going to the Pro Bowl.
They're not elite quarterbacks.
Right, and they never will be. And there was a point in time where people were convinced they were, but they're not. And they're not going to be. And I think Tannehill's probably in the same boat with those guys. As is Kirk Cousins, as is probably Baker Mayfield, as is, those guys. Why'd they win the Seahawks game? Because of Derrick Henry. Why did they win the Josh Allen game? Because of Derrick Henry. The Mahomes game was a whole solid team effort. Why'd they win the Stafford game? Because of the defensive line. So I understand what people are saying. I do think that when the Titans have a premium opponent in front of them, that they can kind of up their game a little bit. I don't think the 49ers were a premium opponent. I don't think this was like getting ready for the Rams on Sunday Night Football. I do think, though, that a lot of these games where the Titans win against these really good quarterbacks are because AJ has a superhuman effort or Derek has a superhuman effort, like the Buffalo game, and not so much, it's the Titans. The experts are saying that maybe Jimmy G didn't have a bad game. Maybe it was the Titans that had a good game, and it's like, Jimmy made 5 horrendous throws last night. Stop me if you think that any of these throws were not absolutely god-awful. The interception of Jenkins.
That was bad.
The overthrow of Juszczyk.
Bad.
The miss of Ayuk on 4th down.
Bad.
The interception to Hooker.
Yeah.
And the one in Evans' hands that he dropped.
Yeah, that was bad because that should have been an interception.
So you can't throw 5 bad balls like that in a game and expect to beat anybody in the NFL.
And have 2 of them be turnovers.
Like, what's Jimmy? Jimmy's, a 7th-year guy? Jimmy's a 7th-year guy. 8th-year guy, whatever he is. You can't throw 5 bad balls like that in a football game. If Tannehill threw 5 bad balls like that yesterday, and he threw a couple bad balls, but nothing like that. If Tannehill threw 5 bad balls like that, it'd be 4 hours of Tannehill talk today. I mean, guys, don't be upset that everybody thinks Jimmy stunk. Enjoy the fact that everybody thought Jimmy stunk. Enjoy the fact that Jimmy did stink. Enjoy the fact that
the Titans were able to capitalize off of Jimmy being bad.
Think about like if you're playing the game Monopoly, right? And you get one of those chance cards. And so you get the chance card, and it's like, congratulations, collect $500. Did you do anything? No. That's what Jimmy did for you yesterday. Roll the dice, chance. Jimmy throws 5 bad balls that just absolutely, paralyze his own team. Yay! Move on. What's next?
Jared from Dixon texts in and says, we finally found what we've been missing in AJ being back. Our quarterback found his much-needed confidence, so ready for the ride because it's coming.
See, this is where football's very week to week, or in the case of the Titans, as we've seen over the last 2 games, half to half. What you did yesterday, now look, we know AJ's a good player. What you did yesterday, that win, the excitement that you felt, because I felt a lot of excitement leaving the stadium. When Bullock made the kick and the 49ers tried that lateral at the end of the game, which Hockley's crew was too dumb to throw a flag on, that they fumbled the ball. And at that point, you can't advance a fumble, so the game's pretty much over anyways. And by the way, Hockley, I think Hockley is embarrassing his dad with his reffing performances. I mean, that's terrible. His crew's awful. That call on Christian Fulton for a face mask was one of the most egregious penalties I have seen over the last week and a half. Fulton was blocked in the back, and he grabbed the guy's shoulder pad, and instead of the obvious block in the back right in front of the official, they called a phantom face mask, and it was totally a big-time changing call. So that got me on Hockley. But, I mean, they were terrible. Hockley's crew was awful. But more importantly, on like the swagger back, and now Tannehill's got his confidence, and here he goes. What happened yesterday and the excitement of that means nothing 10 days from now against the Dolphins. Just like how when they lose, it doesn't necessarily mean anything for the next game. That's why I kept saying on Monday, I was like, I think they're going to win this game Thursday night because they were embarrassed with how they played Sunday. So now you want another shot at it. And so this Dolphins game, I don't think that what happened yesterday has any effect on the Dolphins game. Titans are going to have to shore up some things. They're going to have to start better. They're going to have to finish drives in the red zone. They're going to have to do what they did, in the second half. They're going to have to do that, start from scratch against the Dolphins. 615-737-1025. That is right. Max points out the Hockley crew reffed the game Tuesday night, had 1 day in between flying from Seattle and reffed this game, which is kind of crazy. But they were still pretty terrible. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. We're back to your phones. Plus, was there a Thursday night effect on San Francisco? I think there was. I'll explain next. Stillman and Company right here on ESPN 1025 The Game. Let me tell you all about Souls for Souls. That's right. Our friends at we're doing Souls for Music City. We're trying to get shoes for the kids in need this holiday season. I know a lot of people are thinking about their own gifts and everything else, but we got the opportunity for you to take care of some of our kids who are struggling in Middle Tennessee. Souls for Souls works with our schools to participate in delivering new shoes to kids who need them most. Newton Motor Group will be making a donation to Souls for Souls for every test drive at any of Newton Motor Group's 4 locations. Help us achieve our goal of getting shoes to 100 kids in Nashville experiencing homelessness. More information and to donate can be found at thegamenashville.com/shoes. Tune in to ESPN 1025 The Game every Tuesday afternoon at 4:30 for ESPN's Trevor Maddich joining me, Jared Stillman, on Stillman and Company as we dive deep into the college football world and all the latest from the SEC. It's all brought to you by Houston Clinic Orthopedics, when experience matters.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Temperatures will be warm this afternoon thanks to windy conditions, upper 60s. And for Christmas Day, a run at the record with highs in the mid-70s.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
BetOnline.net has you covered as football season heads to the playoffs, plus pro and college hoops, NHL, boxing, UFC, even live scores of games. BetOnline.net, where the game starts.
In 1972, a Nashville family business story began when Bill and Beverly Finley founded Volunteer Hose and Gasket. 3 generations have grown the business into the local industry leader supplying just about anything to anybody, from the largest of contractors to your neighbor that mows his own yard. Over 1 million items in stock: belts, belting accessories, gaskets, gauges, hose fittings, hydraulics, industrial hoses, lubricants, sealing products, tubing, fire protection, and more. All at volunteerhose.net. If Volunteer Hose and Gasket doesn't have it, then you probably don't need it. Call them at 615-242-0461.
312 Pizza Company is the official sponsor and location of Southeastern Carolines with Caroline Fenton.
Sheet Metal Workers Local 177 is looking for the next great skilled construction tradesman out there. Are you unhappy with your current situation and seeking a better opportunity? If you have prior years of experience and are getting overlooked, it's time to advance your career and start your journey with Smart Local 177. They offer great benefits and job opportunities that are waiting for you. Visit sheetmetal177.com. Happy holidays from everyone at Smart Local 177, an equal opportunity employer.
You may be into punk rock, soft rock, or classic rock, R&B, hip-hop, or house, country, techno, or techno-country. But no matter what kind of music you listen to, here's something else you should hear. Please consider getting vaccinated. Talk to your pharmacist today about Comirnaty, COVID-19 vaccine mRNA. This message brought to you by BioNTech and Pfizer.
The soothing scent of Vicks Vapor Rub. It's only one of the most iconic smells ever. That cooling, comforting scent generations of families have come to trust to help them feel better. And now you trust to soothe your family. Pick up some Vicks Vapor Rub in the little blue jar and wrap yourself with the calm only Vicks Vapor Rub can bring. Vicks Vapor Rub, always there for you.
Darren McFarland.
He's cool. He's got a personality, and they make fun of him.
Willie Donick.
Would this be a fun guy to come to work and hang around with all day?
Chase McCabe.
They're just like, hey, we need you to play yourself.
Darren, Donick, and Chase have you covered weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Curacion CBD on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
You're listening to Stillman and Company, delivered by TriStar Moving.
The comeback, Niners had been 18-0 under Shanahan when leading by 10 or more points at the half.
We're going to bleed. There's times where we're going to bleed. We talked to them at the beginning of the game. You got to be willing to take some shots and be willing to bleed and be willing to taste it and be able to come back swinging. And that's why, it's an honor to coach this football team. The guys care, do whatever they can do. It's not always perfect. Took care of the football, complimentary football. Defense played great in the second half. Everybody played great in the second half. We just did just enough. The interception by Rabbit was critical. We were running out of steam there. We were flatlining, and he made a huge play for us.
There you go. That was Vrabel talking about the comeback for the Titans on Thursday Night Football last night. And Vrabel loves when they win games like this. And then you hear things like, we don't have front runners. This team's always together. This team fights to the final whistle. All the things that a coach loves, right? Hey, we know we're going to get punched and we're going to get back up. And we're not going to back down from anybody. And here we go. But I harped on this all throughout the week. The Thursday Night Football effect. And Thursday Night Football, for the longest time, was played like interdivision. Falcons and Buccaneers, Texans and Colts on Thursday Night Football. In fact, I know the Titans played at Pittsburgh in 2017. Other than that, I think almost all the Thursday night games have been against the Colts or the Jags. Every year for like a 7-year period, it was Titans-Jags on Thursday Night Football. A division opponent. Because there's a thought process of, it's hard to learn a new opponent and it's short time and everything else. But also there's a travel element to this too. Teams that play on the West Coast don't normally fare well when they go to the East Coast. Teams in the East Coast, and we've seen this with the Titans, who could never win a game in San Diego, usually don't fare well going out to the West Coast. And we talked about this all week, about Thursday Night Football. And San Francisco played 3 hours after the Titans did on Sunday. They played a late game. The Titans played an early game. The Titans were probably landing in Nashville as the 49ers game was over. The Titans slept in their beds on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, played on Thursday. They had a little bit of a walkthrough on Monday. They had a walkthrough on Tuesday and a real practice-ish, walkthrough because you can't do anything too much. But they had time to prepare on Wednesday at home. San Francisco had to prepare Wednesday and then fly 4 hours and check into a hotel and play the Titans. In fact, if you look at the stats on Thursday Night Football, and this comes from the Action Network, and this was in September of this year, so I don't know what's happened since this was written. But home favorites have played okay during primetime games, but where they perform best is on Thursday Night Football, where they are 59, 36, and 2 against the spread and 19 and 3 straight up. Also 14, 7, and 1 against the spread in December or later. That the home teams usually fare better on Thursday Night Football. I love Thursday Night Football. Take the Titans out of it. I absolutely love the game itself. I love getting home after work on a Thursday and putting on the TV, and it's like, all right, here we go. Chargers and Saints, Thursday Night Football. But again, a lot of times they're divisional matchups. Kansas City goes to the Chargers. They play there, or you're close in proximity. It's not that big of a deal for Philadelphia to play the Giants on a Thursday night. But it's different for the 49ers to fly all the way out here. And I think the 49ers got a little tired there in the second half. I was talking to Chris Sanders today on the phone, and he was telling me, he's like, that defense just did not look good. They just looked lethargic, and they just stayed in their zone. And AJ just ran to the open part of the zone, and they just caught pitch and catch. And I'm like, I think it's the Thursday Night Football effect. That they played a game 3 hours after the Titans did, had to prepare, flew, and then had to play a game on the road. And I kept banking on that when I was talking this week about why I was expecting the Titans to win, when everybody after a Steeler loss was like, and now the red-hot 49ers are coming in. And I'm like, look, it's Thursday Night Football. And Thursday Night Football normally favors the home team. Caroline, do you think Thursday Night Football played a factor at all in last night's game?
Well, I said it yesterday. Going into that game, I thought that was the biggest factor kind of in the Titans' corner, was the fact that the 49ers, obviously both teams are coming off of short rest on Thursday Night Football, but that's not a short road trip. I mean, you're going halfway across the country from San Francisco to Nashville. That's a long trip. And I thought that was going into last night, with the offensive line issues. And I really didn't think that A.J. Brown was going to be a factor, too big of a factor in the game last night. Clearly I was wrong. But I thought that the biggest thing in the Titans' corner was the fact that even though they're on short rest, the team that they're playing on essentially is even on shorter rest because they have a travel day. The Titans had one more day to rest, one more day to practice, one more day to be in their own digs. And I really do think, the stats kind of say it. Whenever you're coming off of short rest, anything that can give you the advantage is absolutely going to help. And not having to travel is absolutely an advantage, especially when it's from the West Coast to the Southeast.
I'm looking at the Thursday night schedule so far this year. Outside of the games where either one team is really bad or one team is really good, they're pretty much all decided by the home team. So like Carolina went on the road and beat the Texans. But the Texans are really bad on Thursday Night Football. But for the most part, like Seattle's really bad, so they lost to the Rams on Thursday Night Football at home. But other than that, Green Bay won at Arizona. That was a road team winning. Even some of these.
But that was also a Kyler Murray-less Cardinals team.
No, Kyler played. But
Kyler played?
Yeah, Green Bay didn't have a lot of their receivers in that game. So here you go. Tampa Bay won at home in the first Thursday night game, but that doesn't count because that was the start of the season, so it wasn't like short rest for Dallas or anything. Washington won at home in their game against the Giants. The Texans got beat by Carolina. Cincinnati won at home. The Seahawks got beat by the Rams. The Buccaneers won on the road at the Eagles, but that was a very close game. Browns beat Denver at home. Arizona lost to Green Bay. Indianapolis won at home. Miami beat the Ravens in what was just a shocker at home. Atlanta lost 25-0 at home on Thursday Night Football to the Patriots. Boy, that was a gong show. Thursday Night Football. Dallas won at the Saints. Minnesota won at home. So it's not as slanted as I would have thought. But honestly, I think there's a big factor here in Thursday Night Football. And I thought that the 49er defense was tired at the end of the game. And it wasn't like the Titans were running the ball, like they normally do when they wear out a defense. But because the game was so close, the 49er defense could not just go one-dimensional and pin their ears back and come after the quarterback because the Titans were still able to run the ball. And I think they just got tired. I think Jimmy kept the game close, and I don't think San Francisco's defense was up to snuff in the second half. And I told people this. I thought if the game against the Steelers was at home, the Titans would have won that game easily. And if this game was in San Francisco, the Titans would have lost. So I think there is something to that. Back to your phone. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. What do we have in the text line?
Zach from Brentwood texts in and says, Tannehill breaking tackles and not sliding to get 25 yards when needed 25 yards, bare minimum to win it with a field goal. That toughness is what keeps a defense laying it on the line because they know he does. We want you to give him respect, not necessarily praise.
So, I mean, that was a good run. But
yeah.
But where was that last week? You know what I mean? Like, well, I'm giving Tannehill credit. Like I told you, the touchdown throw to AJ. Nobody's talking about this either, which I think is crazy when it comes to Tannehill, because this is a town of Tannehill apologists. Like nobody around the country. Flip on the TV today. Put it on ESPN. Put it on Fox. Put it on a national. Nobody is talking about Tannehill today. Nobody. And yet here it's like this. See, that's the Tannehill. And I'm like, the one play Tannehill made that you should look at yesterday's game and think, wow, was the touchdown throw to AJ. That was in between two dudes right in the zone. And it wasn't like, those guys were far apart from each other and AJ went to the open part of the zone. That was AJ I think it was kind of man coverage, and the safety was coming down, and Tannehill just zipped the ball right in there to AJ for a touchdown. That was the best throw that he has had in months, and nobody here's talking about it. That's the one that I'm like, that was a throw. The run, that was a good run from Tannehill. He's done that over the years. He did it against Kansas City 2 years ago in a second-half comeback drive. But I told you, the 2-minute drill was good, but the thing that I was wowed by was the touchdown throw. And I don't hear anybody talking about the touchdown throw.
And that was a throw that we haven't seen from Tannehill in quite some time.
We have not seen confident throws from him at all. And what it took was the free play where he knew he could take the shot. I talked about this earlier. Aaron Rodgers loves to hurry up to the line, and if you're trying to substitute somebody off, he wants to quick snap it. And as soon as he sees that flag go up, Aaron's going deep. Like, Aaron does not care. If he sees the flag go up and he knows he's got a free play, he doesn't care what the play is. He doesn't care what the down and distance is. He is throwing the ball down the field. That's how Aaron wants to play. With Mariota, it used to drive me nuts. I thought he wouldn't notice the ref when he'd throw the flag. Vrabel today said, this is the first time that we've had one of those since I've been here. But he threw the flag, and from where I sit, you can kind of see all of that. And so I see the guy jump, and I see the flag. And I'm like, free play. And you could tell Tannehill knew it too, because he stepped up, and he just threw the ball as far as he could. And AJ went up and made a play. And once he hit that, it was like a different guy. But I'm not also going to say, okay, now that's who he is for sure going into the Miami game. I'm going to say he played with a little bit of a confidence after he hit that big throw. But in reality, you can't wait till the middle to end of the third quarter before your quarterback starts to get confident. Like, I need those throws, like the one for the touchdown. I need those throws in the first half. Because if you're going to beat Kansas City, that's what you're going to have to do. You want to beat the Dolphins, you may be able to get away with it doing it that way. You want to beat Kansas City, it's going to take a little bit more. And that's what I think about when I think of the playoffs, because unless something goes your way, you still have to go to Arrowhead. And you still have to go to Foxborough. By the way, Buffalo's not going to have any receivers except for Stephon Diggs on Sunday against the Patriots. So if you have to go, if you go to New England, I promise you this now. Now, I know Jimmy Garoppolo was Bill Belichick's quarterback at one point. Bill Belichick's quarterback will not throw that ball to the Titans in Foxborough the way that Jimmy G threw it to the Titans yesterday. He will not do that. And I don't care if Cam Newton, who stinks, I don't care if Cam Newton was Bill Belichick's quarterback. He wouldn't do that because Bill Belichick's not going to let the quarterback do that. He's going to take him out. What's next?
Jeff texts in to the text line in defense of Tannehill and says, so this is a replacement level performance. Ryan Tannehill was 11 of 13 for 149 yards on third down last night. Just 3 times all season has a quarterback completed more third down passes. Tannehill is the only quarterback all season.
First of all, when did I say Tannehill was a replacement level performance today? I mean, I thought Tannehill was fine. I didn't think, like I said, there's starting quarterbacks, and then there's Case Keenum. And when you play like you play against the Steelers and you turn the ball over, I can get that from Case Keenum. When it comes to what Tannehill did yesterday, which, again, wasn't anything super special, but it was fine. The numbers were not good, but I never said that was replacement level. That was not Patrick Mahomes. Now, the idea about the stats.
We've never asked him to be Patrick Mahomes.
No, we've asked him to take care of the football and to get the Titans into position to have success. And in the second half, he did it, which is fine. Okay. But when it comes to the idea of like all those other stats about, on third down, Tannehill was this, that, or the other, like I don't care about those stats. Those are cherry-picked stats to prove your point about and I mean, again, they had, like at one point Joe was talking about, Tannehill's starting to come alive now that he's got a playmaker. Tannehill is, and it's like the fourth quarter, and I'm like, Joe, he's got 169 yards. This reminds me of the old Jared and the GM discussion when they played the Chiefs one time, and I asked if Tannehill could go out and beat Mahomes, and Floyd was like, no. And I was like, well, what about? And he was like, no. And I was like, but what if? No. And he's like, that's not how he wins. And that's not how they win. And so you all want me to, like, congratulate Tannehill as if he deserves a spot on John Madden's bus. And I'm just telling you, he did his job yesterday. And that was a good start. And now I need him to do his job against Miami and do his job against the Texans and get Derrick Henry back. Because if all those things happen and he did his job against the Steelers last week, you'd be the number 1 seed in the AFC. And then if he did his job and Derrick did his job and AJ did his job and the defense with Bud Dupree did their job, then they're going to go to the Super Bowl. But the problem is they didn't do their job against the Steelers, and now they're going to have to go to Foxborough, or they're going to have to go to Arrowhead, and you're going to need something special. Or you're going to need the other guy to give you the game. And Bill Belichick's not giving you the game. Kansas City might. But Bill Belichick is not giving you the football game. And Jimmy G yesterday gave you the football game. And that is where it's hard for me to look at it and say, well, let's just forget about the first half where they threw the ball to the running backs 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage and got just absolutely obliterated. Chad Withrow will join us next. Outkick 360. We'll get Chad's thoughts on last night's Thursday night football game. What did he think of Tannehill? What did he think of A.J. Brown's performance and Jimmy G? We'll do that coming up next. Fireball Hot Take Friday. There is no better way to celebrate the holidays with your family. You'll have your eggnog. You'll have your Christmas dinners. You'll have some nice cocktails. And when you do, make sure there's a bottle of Fireball. Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey goes down so smooth and it tastes so great. There is no better way to ignite the night than to do it with ice-cold Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey. I absolutely love Fireball, and there's also no better way next week to ring in the new year than with Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey. Ignite the night. Please do it responsibly and be 21 years or older to enjoy. That's Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen. Hey, Darren McFarland here. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NBA, has a gift that will certainly put you in the holiday spirit. New customers can bet just $5 on any NBA team, win $150 in free bets if they're victorious. All DraftKings Sportsbook customers can also get in the Christmas spirit with the holiday free bet surprise. Everyone will get a free bet up to $50 instantly as DraftKings gives away up to $10 million in prizes. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. Best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use that code 1025GAME. Bet just $5 on any NBA team and win $150 in free bets if they're victorious. That code again, 1025GAME, this Christmas week at DraftKings Sportsbook. You must be 21 years of age or older. Tennessee only. Restrictions do apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789.
These are battles, these are grinds. We don't panic, we don't freak out. That's how we're built. 1, 2, 3, 9.
This is the Drive to the Playoffs, brought to you by Coleman Tractor on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game in the Game Nashville app.
Max Hurst here with your Victory Friday Drive to the Playoffs update here on 1025 The Game. The Titans take down the 49ers 20-17 last night on Thursday Night Football after going scoreless in the first half. An early touchdown in the second for Deontay Foreman, plus a drive that A.J. Brown took over.
Brown's got more catches than the rest of the team combined. 9 for 109 now. First and 10. Tannehill
Brown finished with 11 catches for 145 yards and that touchdown in his return. That score put the Titans up 17-10. The Niners tied the game at 17 before Randy Bullock won it with 4 seconds to go. The Titans' magic number to clinch the AFC South is now 1. Meaning that if the Titans win either of their 2 remaining games against the Dolphins or the Texans, or if the Colts lose any of their 3 remaining games against the Cardinals, Raiders, or Jaguars, the Titans will be your AFC South Division champions.
The funeral for the Titans was yesterday or today, but we're not dead yet. You know, we'll come back and we'll play.
I'm Max Hurst with your Drive to the Playoffs, brought to you by Coleman Tractor.
Gary Ashton here. Most people in Nashville know me as the don't sell without the intel and the guaranteed offer guy. But despite my accent, I'm also 100% guaranteed Nashville. I'm a guaranteed musician, a guaranteed dog lover, and you're also guaranteed to see me at every Titans and Preds game. Guaranteed offer means the Gary Ashton team with RE/MAX Advantage will sell your house for top dollar with no cleaning, staging, showings, or open houses, and give you up to 90 days to close. So there's plenty of time to find your next home. Guaranteed Nashville means my team lives here and loves it here. We've served Nashville for over 20 years, and we're passionate about helping the people we call neighbors and friends, which is why we've had a long-standing tradition of donating to the Vanderbilt Children's Hospital. If you're thinking about a guaranteed offer, get the only one that's guaranteed Nashville. Request a no-obligation offer by calling 615-301-1650 or go to GaryAshton.com today. Remember, Gary Ashton, guaranteed Nashville.
312 Pizza Company is family-owned and operated, bringing you a slice of Chicago to Nashville. 312 Pizza Company specializes in deep dish pizza, thin crust pizza, and all things Chicago style. Always made from scratch using secret family recipes passed down generation to generation. 312 Pizza is open every day except for Tuesdays and is located in Germantown with dine-in, takeout, and curbside available. Call 615-730-7888 to order 312 Pizza Company, Nashville's authentic Chicago pizzeria.
Nashville's best sports talk, locally owned, home of our Nashville Predators. WPRT-FM Pegram, 97.5 Murfreesboro, WBUZ HD2 Laverne, online at thegamenashville.com. We are
ESPN
1025 The Game. Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stone and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving. ESPN 1025 The Game, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Fireball Hot Take Friday. The Titans with a big Thursday night win over San Francisco. And so a lot of people are mad at me today because I feel like internally they want me to get on my knees and say, I'm sorry I ever doubted Tannehill. I'm sorry I brought up the idea of trading for Russell Wilson. I'm sorry I got on the Titans after they pissed away the game last week against Pittsburgh and perhaps the number 1 seed. I'm sorry. And I'm just going to tell you, it's just not going to happen. Now, A.J. Brown played really well yesterday. I think they really needed him. And I think Jimmy Garoppolo gave the Titans the ball game. Chad Withrow joins us now. Outkick 360, as always, presented by Apple Collision Centers, online at applecollisioncenters.com. So, Chad, I listened to the national media, and they basically refused to talk about what the Titans did yesterday and just say, hey, Jimmy G stunk it up. And then I listened to all the fans that are demanding like some level of praise for the Titans for yesterday's victory. How do you see it?
First off, I'm disappointed to hear that we're not going to start with your apology tour, Jared. I was hoping for that it would start during this segment. Look, here's how I see it. A.J. Brown is great, and we knew that all along. I mean, this has so much to do with the return of A.J. Brown and his significance to the Titans. I think that's the big storyline in this game. I'm also not with fans and some local media in praising Dylan Radins in this game, and we may get to that also. I think that's weird for a guy who couldn't even see his way onto the field on game days throughout the season as a second-round pick, that because the Titans had to max protect all game and give him help, that he wasn't a complete disaster, that's supposed to be some great sign for Dylan Radins. I think this is another one of those great coaching performances and game plans from Mike Vrabel. I think the Titans benefited greatly from bad Jimmy G in this game, and they found a way to gut it out and win. It's a team that I think is really tough-minded, and they show that every time we start to doubt them a little bit. And there was a lot of reasons to doubt after that performance in Pittsburgh. So I'm with you. You don't owe anyone an apology. Obviously, Ryan Tannehill is different and better when A.J. Brown is in the lineup. But Ryan Tannehill wasn't great in the start of the season when A.J. Brown and Julio Jones and Derrick Henry were all healthy. So I need to see a little bit more of that. But last night was a great win for the Titans, and it's just another statement of just how great A.J. Brown is and how important he is to this Titans offense.
See, that's what bothered me the most about the Steelers' loss was I felt like, okay, once you had a lead in that game, could you just find a way to win that game? AJ comes back the next week. Derek is going to come back after that. And if you've got a bye week in home field throughout in the playoffs with AJ and Derrick Henry, you've got a shot. You wouldn't have to play both New England and Kansas City. You'd only get one of them, and they'd be coming here, and you've got a legitimate shot of making it to the Super Bowl. That performance yesterday, again, not to take anything away from A.J. Brown and the mistakes that the Titans didn't make, but that performance yesterday is not going to win you a playoff game at Arrowhead or at Foxborough. And that's the position I feel like the Titans have put themselves in because they couldn't take care of the business they were supposed to against the Steelers the week before. Not to take anything away from last night's win, but more so just the reality of, look, the Titans are good enough to beat teams like the 49ers, but that's a different animal when it comes to beating the Chiefs in Arrowhead in an AFC title game.
And, Jared, we talked about it last week. I thought that Pittsburgh game was the turning point of the back part of the schedule because the Titans were able to hold on and hold that 10-point lead at halftime and win. We would legitimately be discussing number 1 overall seed by home field, Titans going to the Super Bowl, lose that game, and it was going to be a dogfight for the division. The dogfight for the division just got a little bit easier with that big come-from-behind win last night against the 49ers. I don't think that the Titans are in any danger of not winning the division now. But what that loss in Pittsburgh did, I think, was eliminate their ability to get that number 1 overall seed, and that's why it's so big. And I agree with you. I mean, at halftime last night, I joked on Twitter that I thought that opening drive touchdown by San Francisco was enough to win the game based on the Titans' offense and who they had playing in that game. And I looked like a genius at halftime when it's 10-0. Titans were horrible on offense. They've been horrible on offense. And the main reason for that is injury and players being out. But I thought they were terrible again last night up until the second half, where almost miraculously they made 3rd and 10 plus play after 3rd and 10 plus play in that game and were able to come from behind. That's not going to be good enough to win a playoff game on the road. But what it is a sign that, okay, this offense can be functional again with a healthy A.J. Brown. And, oh, by the way, if reports are true that Derrick Henry's coming back, maybe even ready right before the playoffs, maybe this Titans team can improve to the point where they can do some damage. And keep in mind, the defense continues to be great. Well, they give up 164 yards of offense in a loss to Pittsburgh the week before. So that's been the mainstay for the Titans is this defense continues to rock and roll.
See, I look at Jimmy Garoppolo's performance yesterday, and I do think that he was the second most important player for the Titans, maybe even the most important player behind A.J. Brown or with A.J. Brown. I counted up 5 terrible passes from Jimmy Garoppolo, the interception to Jenkins in the end zone, the interception to Amani Hooker, the one that he tried to throw to Rashaan Evans for an interception that Evans dropped, the ball where he overshot Kyle Juszczyk by 15 yards, and what was the 4th down pass where he missed Brandon Ayuk. If that's Patrick Mahomes, or if that's Bill Belichick's quarterback in a playoff game, or if that's Justin Herbert even here at Nissan Stadium, that's not going to happen. And I just think that we have to admit that Jimmy played a huge role in the Titans winning, and I just don't think Titan fans want to hear any of that.
Well, and 49ers fans are asking the question, if that was Trey Lance, what would that look like? Yeah. Titans fans have to ask that also, because I've got a good buddy who's a huge Niners fan, and they're all calling for Jimmy Garoppolo to be benched and to start the Trey Lance era. And that may sound crazy because Jimmy Garoppolo has been pretty good as of late up until last night. But look, I'm with you, though. I mean, the Titans opponents have been the beneficiary of poor play from Ryan Tannehill and the turnover bug from the Titans. So at some point over the course of a season, it's going to play its way to where you're going to benefit from that. I thought the Titans it was very beneficial last night that Jimmy G couldn't throw at times and just made inexplicable plays that allowed the Titans to stay in it. That interception to Janoris Jenkins, Jackrabbit Jenkins in the end zone, to me was the most important play of the game, because the Titans are getting blown out if that doesn't happen. If it's 14-0 with that offense the way they were playing, you get a different Titans attitude and game the rest of the way. That interception saved the day, and that interception was 100% on Jimmy G making a terrible decision to throw it right to Jackrabbit Jenkins.
You brought up Dylan Radins. People want me to apologize because I said that he's a bust, and I still stand by that. I thought it was interesting. I listened to Vrabel on my drive home last night tell Mike Keith. Mike Keith asked him, what'd you think of Radins out there? And Vrabel, and I'm paraphrasing all this, Vrabel basically was like, I was glad to see all the hard work that he's put in and him be a part of a win. And it was good to see his face when he walked up the tunnel, after we won the game. But there was nothing about Mike. I thought he played great. And then today he said the same thing again. And then Paul asked him, to your point, Paul Kaharski asked him, what is it about kind of overly congratulating a second-round pick? And Vrabel talked about how, you don't see the hard work he puts in and all this kind of stuff. This reminded me, Chad, of Jameel Douglas 2 years ago in the opener against Cleveland when they gave him a game ball. And in games 2 and 3, he was so bad that they just had to put Nate Davis out there with no practice. I struggle with the Radins thing. He didn't get Tannehill killed, which was a big fear of mine. There was nothing I saw out of Dylan Radins yesterday that makes me think that he's an answer for this team at tackle. And when you're drafting a guy in the second round, that's what he's got to be. What did you make of it, and why are you maybe a little discouraged by the coverage of Dylan Radins today?
Look, I've got a real problem with Titans fans treating a second-round pick at tackle like he's Rudy Rudiger out there. I mean, I have a real issue with that. I'm with you on that. This is a guy that if he was not a bust at this point, he is absolutely a bust right now. He may turn out to be okay, but the Titans are telling you he's a bust. How? He hasn't played until last night. He was a second-round pick with a bad right tackle in front of him that at worst by week 4 or 5 should be your starting right tackle after playing in the rotation and getting ready in the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season. And if that's the case, he's a guy you could move to left tackle last night and have a normal game plan. Instead, he is a second-round pick at right tackle who could not become active on game days, who, when put into the lineup only because of a bunch of injuries and COVID with another player, they had to completely devise a game plan to mask how bad Dylan Radins is. Go back and watch the first down throws last night. Dylan Radins was asked to dive at the ankles of Bosa in that game to give his quarterback a second and a half to throw the football. They did not put him on an island last night. It was max protect the entire game. Why? Because they don't believe in Dylan Radins. They believed in him enough to draft him the second round, where not a lot of people had him going, quite frankly, but they don't believe in him, and they're telling you that. And I don't get the fan love affair with a guy who's been a complete disappointment that goes out there last night, and we're going to applaud him and pat him on the back and, give him some eggnog and cookies because, he didn't get killed when he had help the entire game. He was drafted in the second round to be a starter for the Titans in his first year. He's absolutely been a bust, and you shouldn't apologize for that, and no one else should. I don't understand this love affair with a guy that the Titans had to scheme around because they have no faith in him.
I mean, I have a much bigger issue with kind of all of this, which is I don't feel like Titan fans hold Titan players accountable at all. And it bothers me, like in the Tannehill sense, which was Tannehill had such a bad game on Sunday against the Steelers. I know that all of his wide receivers were out. And I'm not asking him to throw for 300 yards. I'm asking for him to accept the exchange from the center in the handoff and not fumble the ball to the Steelers or not throw one right into the hands of a defensive lineman to get intercepted. That's all I'm asking from Ryan Tannehill. And he makes $30 million, and he goes out there, plays a terrible first half. Did you see this stat that Teron Davenport tweeted out? The only game where the Titans had less yards in the first half was that 2010 game that Rusty Smith had to start because Vince Young threw his pads into the stands. And, that's how bad it was in the first half. Tannehill made one great throw last night. I thought the touchdown to A.J. in between two guys into the end zone 18 yards down the field. And the local media and the fans are like, see, he just needed A.J. back, and now he's the man. And I'm like, whoa. Hold a $30 million quarterback accountable to winning games and not losing them like he had. I just think they get too carried away with the good, and they don't understand enough of the bad, and that's what I find concerning about the Titans overall, including your point about Dylan Radins.
I think that fans have a hard time. And look, I understand, we all got into this because we're fans of sports, sure, and we're fans of teams and players, and we all have a blind spot at times for a certain player. And I get that. And I'm fine with that. And a lot of that comes from a guy overperforming. A great example to me is A.J. Brown. He's a second-round pick. He plays like a top 10 pick at wide receiver. So I can understand fans' love affair with A.J. Brown and not being quick to crush the guy because he has a bad game. Totally get that. I would understand fans defending Ryan Tannehill if you go into it with the mindset of, what did the Titans give up to get Ryan Tannehill? Virtually nothing to come in and be a backup for Marcus Mariota. Mariota doesn't pan out. Tannehill comes in. He's great for a stretch. I understand fans being attached to Tannehill thinking, we got a lot for nothing. Now that he has the starting quarterback contract, though, I think expectations do need to adjust. And you go from being this guy who's a former first-round pick who flamed out in Miami, that you got on the cheap, that's over-delivered for your team, to a guy that you must rely on if you want to win a Super Bowl. And ultimately, that's what every Titans fan wants, is to win a Super Bowl. So, yeah, you've got to change the expectations for Ryan Tannehill. I don't think enough fans have done that. I think they still see Ryan Tannehill, here's this failure in Miami who wasn't properly coached, who came here on the cheap with a trade. He was a backup, and Arthur Smith turned him into a top 10 quarterback. Well, he's got to continue that. If the Titans are going to win a Super Bowl, he's got to be even better than that. And he's been worse this year, and it's completely fair to hold him accountable for that.
The one thing that I can't get over, and I argue with the people in the text line about this all the time, Chad Withrow, our guest, Outkick 360, is I think the Titans' defense is fine when Bud Dupree's not out there. I think they're pretty freaking good when Bud Dupree is in there. Bud had a sack last night. Do you see it with Bud Dupree when he's on the field?
I think I see it with two guys now, honestly, Bud Dupree and Zach Cunningham. I've seen enough with Zach Cunningham that guy's different than other linebackers, the inside linebackers especially for the Titans. I thought last night there was one play in the first half. Rashaan Evans on a first down tackle is getting up and putting his fist in the air like it's fourth down. And I'm thinking that pretty much sums up the awareness of the entire Titans team in that first half last night, which was awful. Zach Cunningham plays with a different level of violence and speed at that position. I think he can help transform this Titans defense that's been really good to something that's great in the playoffs. And I'm with you, Jared. I think Bud Dupree brings an added element to it also. Danico Autry is an acquisition we probably don't talk enough about that's helped this defense so much this year. Titans defense is the last of their problems right now. I think you've got guys that need to be in there every down that are playing really well, and you've got guys like Bud Dupree, like Zach Cunningham learning more of the defensive system that suddenly when you mix those guys in, they bring an even better element to this Titans defense that it's a defense that could win a Super Bowl. Let's say it about the defensive side of it. Offensively, nowhere close right now. Defensively, this is a defense that can win a Super Bowl.
Chad Withrow's with us, presented by Apple Collision Centers, online at applecollisioncenters.com. We've got the Todd Downing discussion to get into with Chad coming up, as well as there is a lot of Titan football, even though the Titans played yesterday over Christmas weekend, including the Colts game tomorrow. They've got COVID issues now. The Chiefs have COVID issues. The Patriots play the Bills. We'll get Chad's thoughts on all of that and the Titans going forward. We'll do that coming up next. Fireball Hot Take Friday. Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving. It's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Attention, nice list recipients. The Mercedes-Benz winter event is here. Make this season your reason. Forget the halls, deck the garage. Hark, the turbo engines sing. Like hot cocoa in a blizzard, this opportunity won't last long. Hurry for these exclusive offers from Nashville's two-time Best of the Best award-winning Mercedes-Benz of Music City. Just one exit from the airport. Go to mbofmc.com.
Blood Assurance is the only nonprofit blood centers in Middle Tennessee where 100% of your blood donations go to help save lives for people right here in our community. Blood Assurance is proud to announce the opening of its newest location at the Oakwood Commons Shopping Center at 4686 Lebanon Pike in Hermitage. Find it in your heart to donate today. Go to bloodassurance.org/schedule for information.
This is Stan Harrison, CEO of Apple Collision Centers. We understand that no one likes to deal with auto body repair and the inconvenience it becomes in your day-to-day life. I want to personally invite you to stop by and let our experienced staff see how we can help you make your vehicle look good as new. Apple Collision Center has 3 convenient locations, Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin, ready to serve you. Come by and see us or visit us online at applecollisioncenters.com.
Family Leisure would like to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas. From our family to yours.
Merry Christmas!
Family Leisure is having a Christmas sale. Up to 50% off on everything in the store.
Wow, that really helps.
Arcade games, game tables, pool tables, even shuffleboard tables are on sale. Foosball and air hockey tables as low as $1.99 as well.
Those are great gifts for the family.
Family Leisure has spas in stock and on sale and ready for immediate delivery. Family Leisure's Christmas sale going on now.
Both huge locations, Franklin and Antioch.
Family and fun come together.
Zines First is the official sign company for 102.5 The Game. Go to sfnash.com.
Hi, guys. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, we have a major medical advancement that has helped thousands of men. The Wave technology at Hillside Medical was tested by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic, and the results are in. It's proven to increase blood flow by repairing blood vessels. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED by treating the root cause, call us now. And not only will the assessment and blood flow ultrasound be free, but we'll also include something unique that produces immediate results in the bedroom. You're going to love that. This is a $600 value, free to those that call in the next 2 minutes. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction today and get your love life back just in time for the holidays. Call Hillside Medical now to qualify. 615-576-5000.
Marvel Studios presents Hawkeye.
Kate, you want to be a superhero? You put your life in danger.
There's also cool costumes, some trick arrows.
And then there's that.
Now,
There's only about 1,000 of them, and 2 of us.
They should have brought more guys.
an Avenger has arrived.
Follow me!
On Disney Plus.
There's an Avenger in my home.
Hey.
That's amazing!
Marvel Studios Hawkeye. First 2 episodes now streaming only on Disney Plus. If you've missed any of today's show, just search Stillman and Company on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform.
Chad Withrow with us, Outkick 360, presented by Apple Collision Centers on Christmas Eve. So one thing that I really get bothered by is when people say, you got to give credit, and then they list off everybody. You know, you got to give credit to all these people. And I'm like, no, we should give credit when the Titans win a game to the people that deserve credit. Chad, I thought Todd Downing's game plan last night, especially in the first half, was absolutely horrendous. I don't know how many screen passes have to get blown up in the backfield before he realizes, you know what, other teams are kind of onto it. Last night, Tannehill was throwing the ball to running backs 4 yards in the backfield, and they were getting tackled for 5 yards loss. Against San Francisco. I could hear the boos at Nissan Stadium. Then they won the game, so the criticism of Downing has not been as high. What do you think of the new-ish offensive coordinator?
I am amazed that they overcame his ineptitude in the first half, honestly. It was really bad. I was sitting there. Of course, I'm up in Nebraska, and I'm watching the game with family, and I was at an event where I had the game on mute for the first half. But I'm watching it, and I'm just counting in my head the amount of passes for loss. And they had that stat at one point. I think it was 8 of 10 or 10 of 12 first down plays for the Titans that were 0 or negative gain on first down in the game. But I was just more amazed that, I mean, it's difficult to complete passes for losses that many times. Just if you went out and tried to devise a game plan where you said, I'm going to go out and complete passes and lose an average of 4 or 5 yards on every completion, that's difficult to do. I thought the game plan was bad. It obviously got a lot better in the second half. I know they targeted A.J. Brown in the first half, but whatever they were doing in the second half on 3rd and long, give me more of that. A lot of it was across the middle of the field, whether it be Nick Westbrook-Akina, Julio Jones, I know had a big reception for a first down, A.J. Brown. That's where the Titans, I think, can make some money offensively, is across the middle with some of those bigger receivers. I think Downing figured that out in the second half, but I'm with you on this, Jared. I thought the first half was so bad that I'm a little bit amazed that the Titans were able to overcome that and still get the win.
Mm-hmm. The Colts had to put Quentin Nelson in the COVID protocol, so they'll be without 3 offensive linemen tomorrow on Christmas against Arizona. Arizona gets blown out last week by Detroit. I've always said the last thing you want before you play a team is for them to get embarrassed. The best thing would be to win big over some big opponent. And so here comes Arizona at home. Indy's got to go on the road, and they've got Quentin Nelson out for tomorrow. What do you think of the chances that the Titans end up division champions on Christmas?
Isn't it one of the strangest things of this NFL season when you look at that result between Arizona and Detroit and how they got blown out? I mean, that is so weird. I think Arizona handles them. I thought New England would beat Indianapolis also. The Colts continue to prove us wrong. But I do think that we're going to come back Monday. I'm going to come back on with you next Friday. And we're going to be talking about the Titans hosting a playoff game because they have clinched the division with a Colts loss. I'm with you. I've seen the Cardinals be good all season. I don't know what's gone on these last 2 weeks, especially against Detroit. But I think they bounce back and beat Indy, especially with some of these losses on the offensive line. And Quentin Nelson is so important to what they do in the run game. That's a really big loss. Most people see offensive guard and think, well, you can overcome that. Heck, the Titans just started Dylan Radins at left tackle and won an NFL game. So anyone can overcome anything on the offensive line. But what Quentin Nelson does, so much more important for the Colts. So I think Arizona wins this weekend. I think the Titans are your AFC South champions on Monday.
What do you make of this? So the New York Times playoff predictor, whatever the percentages, Titans are 99% to make the playoffs, 97 to win the South, 23 to get the number 1 seed. New England is also 23, and Kansas City is 51%. Now, Kansas City plays without Tyreek Hill and probably without Travis Kelce on Sunday against the Steelers. Do you think the Titans still have a shot at getting the number 1 seed? They also have to go, the Chiefs do also have to go to the Bengals. Do you think the number 1 seed is a possibility for the Titans? And with Derrick Henry coming back, could the Titans get to the Super Bowl without getting the number 1 seed?
Yes, with Derrick Henry coming back, but it's the caveat that I've thrown out a bunch, and that is, how do we get 100% of Derrick Henry? Do we get 60%? What's he going to be like when he comes back? But I think Derrick Henry back 100%, A.J. Brown in the lineup the way he's playing last night, and the defense continuing to get better, really get better and better each week, and they've been really good all season. I think the Titans are a team who could go to the Super Bowl. Mathematically, they still have a chance at number 1 seed. I just don't see it happening. I think it's KC or it's New England at this point for the number 1 seed. I think the Titans are playing for that division championship and hosting a playoff game. I think you can pretty much forget about the number 1 overall seed. But even if they don't lock up that number 1 seed, I think with a healthy Derrick Henry, yeah, I mean, they're a team that, could they go to Kansas City and beat the Chiefs? I wouldn't predict that to happen the week of the game if most people are healthy in that game on both sides. But it absolutely could happen the way this team is built. But they got to have Derrick Henry to do it. And as we saw last night against the 49ers,
If you could take one, if you could take one between the Titans winning and after that happens, and you've got New England playing Buffalo, Cole Beasley going to be out for Buffalo. If you could say, all right, New England loses so the Titans could get the 2 seed, or Kansas City loses and the Titans have a shot at the 1 seed, which one do you think would be better for the Titans?
All right, I froze up there for a second, Jared. Say that last scenario again one more time for me.
So Buffalo plays New England. So would you rather have New England lose to Buffalo and the Titans jump New England, or Kansas City lose to Pittsburgh and the Titans jump Kansas City so they wouldn't have to go to either Arrowhead or Foxborough, assuming they wouldn't get the 1 seed and the team that does win would get the 1 seed?
Yeah, so you're saying assuming to avoid Arrowhead or KC.
Yes.
Start Arrowhead or Foxborough.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I would prefer – here's the team right now that I want to play in the playoffs. It's the Buffalo Bills. I don't think they're a team designed for the playoffs because of their lack of a run game. So anything that keeps me away from Kansas City, who I think is the best team in the AFC and by far the team to beat, and I'll throw New England in that mix also. Because of the way they're playing defense right now, I'm all for that scenario as opposed to going and playing one of those 2 teams.
What about the Chargers? I mean, I don't like the idea of Justin Herbert coming in here, because if Justin Herbert was quarterbacking the 49ers last night, they would have beaten the Titans. But there's something about the Chargers, and I love Herbert. There's something about the Chargers and the Bengals that make me think they've got good quarterbacks and could slice the Titans up, but they just can't win week in and week out. I think the Chargers at Nissan Stadium, flying all the way across the country, would have a tough time.
I am a Justin Herbert fan. I am probably unlike a lot of people in media. I do not fear the Chargers at all. That is not a matchup that would bother me if I'm a Titans fan. Bring on the Chargers at home. For the reasons you said, you could point to every team in the league and say everyone's inconsistent. And that's certainly true. But I think the Chargers, the swings in the way they play, and what they do is pretty dramatic. I would like this Titans team and the way they're built and their makeup against the Chargers, even though I do think that Justin Herbert is becoming a true superstar in the NFL.
Last one for you. How concerned are you about Julio Jones and his lack of production?
I mean, I'm concerned about Julio Jones' lack of availability. The fact that he made it through a game healthy, this is what I want to see with Julio Jones. Build something. Every time it's not even – I'm not going to give him enough credit to say that he's done something to take a step back from it. But even a few catches in a game, and then, boom, the hamstring's a problem again. Or then he's just a complete no-show for a game. I want to see him stay healthy for consecutive weeks in complete games and build on what he did before. Did not do a lot last night, did a little, but come back next week and build upon that performance. If we could just be in a situation with 2 regular season games left, Jared, where we're going into the playoffs saying, all right, Julio Jones is now building to something better. I think that's the one win you can get out of Julio Jones right now, because he is a huge bust at this point. But if looking forward, not looking back, if he can just get better the next 2 weeks to where you feel like you could get something out of him in the playoffs, I think that's the only win you can get from Julio Jones right now.
Chad Withrow, Outkick 360. Merry Christmas to you and your family, Chad. Happy holidays as always, and appreciate you joining us on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, happy whatever to everyone out there, Jared, you included. Always fun hopping on this show with you, and looking forward to continuing to do this in 2022.
Absolutely. Love you being a part of it as well. Chad is presented by Apple Collision Centers. Again, those are Mark Howard's guys. Apple Collision Centers, my guys, again, taking good care of us, having Chad on our program. Coming up next, Mike Vrabel. Boy, every now and then, Vrabel in his day, and you see this in the Man of the Arena, Brady, they button it up outside to the cameras. They talk a lot of trash. I thought Vrabel maybe kind of threw a little bit of an elbow last night, but was it a little over the top? We'll get to that coming up next. 615-737-1025. Fireball Hot Take Friday. Stillman and Company on ESPN 1025 The Game.
Sunday. It's an NFL triple header with playoff implications. First, Bills-Patriots.
Allen, he fires to the end zone. Davis, touchdown.
Followed by Steelers-Chiefs.
Mahomes, throw it, pass, caught, Hill, touchdown.
And then capped off by the Cowboys and Washington football team.
Elliott, right up the gut for a touchdown.
It all begins at 11.
On ESPN
1025 The Game.
It's the end of the year blowout sale at Social Furniture. Save up to 70% off Ashley Furniture. Social Furniture has truckloads of the best selection of furniture. Get your nightstands, mattresses, bar stools, sofas, and recliners. All on sale now. Come first for the best selection of furniture before it's gone. And you don't want to miss out. Visit Social Furniture on the west side at 5412 Charlotte Avenue. On the web at mysocialfurniture.com. Social Furniture is a proud supporter of your Nashville Predators.
Winter's a bad time for your furnace to go out, but it's never a bad time to call Lee Company. Our heating and air conditioning pros are available 24/7. No heat? Don't wait. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000. Our expert technicians will diagnose the issue and fix it right the first time. When you're cold, you need someone you can count on to bring the heat. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
Due to overwhelming response, Genesis Diamond's amazing holiday finance offer has been extended. Now through Christmas Eve, you can enjoy 5 years, 0 interest on any holiday purchase. Everyone's loving this because it makes it easy to splurge this holiday season. A $6,000 pair of diamond stud earrings is just $100 a month with nothing down. You can even include the sales tax. At Genesis, we have all the most popular gifts: rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, pendants, pearls, and a spectacular selection of designer jewelry you won't find anywhere else. Names like Tacori, Viraggio, Kirk Cara, unique, one-of-a-kind, fashion-forward designs. So let our non-commissioned diamond experts help you pick out that headliner gift. Get the guaranteed best Genesis price, pay nothing down, and spread your payments over 5 whole years. Make this one unforgettable Christmas with help from Genesis Diamonds. Merry Christmas from Genesis Diamonds. Green Hills and Cool Springs. On approved credit, see store for details.
What's up, everybody? This is Teron Davenport, and I am here to tell you about Freedom Tire Guys. They're Nashville's premier mobile tire service. New tires, rotating, balancing, flat repair, torquing, they do it all. I can tell you this from personal experience. Just a couple weeks ago, I was at the Titans facility. They came there and changed my tires, all 4 of them. They did an excellent job. My car is riding extra smooth now. If you're in need of tire service, be sure to check them out at freedomtireguys.com. You don't see the tires you want, they'll go ahead and get it for you.
Music City Man Cave Luxury Men's Grooming is not your everyday nail salon. They specialize in custom hand and foot treatments for men only. As Nashville's first and only all-male hand and foot spa, they curate healthy, solution-oriented manicures and pedicures designed especially for men. From their comfortable environment, aromas, and overall focus on your self-care, everything is designed to make men feel comfortable. Book your appointment today by calling 615-975-2201 or online at musiccitymancave.com. Refining the confidence in men. Luxury grooming, man cave feeling.
Hey, it's ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck on Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 1025 The Game.
And it's going to help this team's confidence, and how important it is to kind of be consistent here down the stretch as you get ready for the postseason.
Yeah, we need to start, stacking them. It's a good win, good, tough, physical battle, which we knew it was going to be coming in. We found a way to win, which is exactly what we believe in each other around here and believe we're going to do. And now we just have to be able to start stacking those wins.
There you go, Ryan Tannehill. We got to start stacking wins. Let's just think about the Dolphins right now, everybody. I mean, I know everybody's excited when you leave the stadium, but I don't think, Caroline, I have ever felt a more emotional swing from a team and fan base game by game than I do with this team. And I've been a Titan fan for a long time, and I've been covering the NFL now for a while, and I'm not sure I have ever felt a more emotional swing outside of the playoffs than I do with this team. This particular Titan team, where everything was awful on Sunday and Monday, and now everything's perfect. To give everybody credit, Dylan Radins is a superstar in the making with this team now. Tannehill talking about stacking wins. You got 2 games left. You're going to be stacking wins.
It's fair for fans to react to games, to say we're disappointed in what we saw in our team on Sunday, and we're encouraged from what we saw on Thursday. It's fair to say that. But I think that the important thing is not to say anything that's so finite. Because I remember we had a texter, if it wasn't yesterday, it was maybe the day before, saying, fire everyone. Fire the offensive line, fire the offensive coordinator. I only want Vrabel and J-Rob to stay. I don't even care if J-Rob goes. And I don't know what that texter feels today. Maybe they feel the exact same way. But it has been a lot of the past couple of weeks. We're done with this team. J-Rob, J-Rob's got to go. And then today, it's fair to react to games. It's very fair to react, but don't overreact.
Gets a little too over the top sometimes. But it was funny listening to Vrabel, because the thing about Vrabel is he usually doesn't talk a lot of trash after games. He's usually not very good for a quote. It's usually just your typical, we worked really hard and we made some plays on defense, and the offense played well, and give credit to those guys up front, and coaches coached a good game, and we were able to whatever. And I'm listening to Vrabel, and I thought he had a little shot for the media and the fans, although hidden a little bit last night. But perhaps this takes us into his mind, or what he was telling the team throughout the week. But here was Vrabel last night talking about the victory.
You opened with how proud you are to coach this football team, to see a team adjust the way they did, get their composure and win. Is this about as satisfying as a win gets as a head coach?
They're all amazing, but I think under the circumstances of a short week, being down some bodies, against a really good football team. We'll figure out where everybody has us after this week. We were the funeral for the Titans, was yesterday or today, but we're not dead yet. We'll come back and we'll play. I guess the Dolphins next, right? That's who we got in 10 days. This weekend's going to feel really good. I'm happy that our players can rest and recover after getting a victory.
I could not believe that answer. And I'm not outraged by it or anything, but this idea of, Vrabel's always talked every year about blocking out the noise, not caring what anybody else is saying, and now he gets up there. Now we'll see where they rank us. Dude, Jimmy Garoppolo just threw you the football 3 times. You caught it twice. That's why you won the game. You know that. You're smart enough to know that. You've coached in this league long enough to know that. You played in this league long enough to know that. And so now it's like, the funeral for the Titans is not yet. And I'm like, we all thought you were going to the playoffs. You still had a 97% chance of making the playoffs going into last night's game. Nothing changes unless Pittsburgh beats Kansas City and Buffalo beats New England. Nothing changes. At least it doesn't change for me. And I'm thinking, are these Titans swinging too much emotionally? And the other thing about that got me that I was kind of like, whoa, was when he talked about the Dolphins. And he's like, we're going to enjoy this. Then we'll get on to who do we play next? Miami, I guess. What? Miami, you guess? That's something that, like Vrabel, that's something that you never do. Talk about the opponent like, oh, yeah, I'm not really thinking about it. What? I figured that if anything, if the Dolphins came up in a Vrabel press conference after that, it would be to say, hey, we got a really good Dolphin team we got to get ready to start thinking about now. We got to win. It's great. We're going to celebrate this, enjoy Christmas, and get on to Miami because it's a big game. And instead it was, I guess get ready for the Dolphins. Like, what? And I just think that this team's too emotional. Like, I think the fans are going to be one week to the next week, like the Arizona Colts thing. Colt fans and the media that covers the Colts, they think the Colts are headed to the Super Bowl right now. And Arizona just lost to the Lions. And I'm telling you, in a week-to-week league, I'd be scared to death if I was Indianapolis tomorrow. You're Chad Withrow. He thinks that the Colts are going to lose. But Vrabel is like the most non-emotional, over-the-top coach. And I think, he's we'll see where they rank us after this one and get ready for who's next? Miami? Yeah, Miami. We'll get ready for that. That didn't seem very Vrabel-like, Caroline.
It didn't. And I think the one thing that stood out most to me was it was almost like a shot to the media. Like, oh, we all had our funeral for the Titans this week. Mike, you understand that this football team has not been playing up to its standard. And that's exactly what the media is doing, is holding the Titans accountable for not playing up to its standard. Like, you're going to turn the ball over, 3, 4, 5 times and expect to all just happy-go-lucky talk from the Titans media? You're going to lose to the Texans and then fumble the ball 4 times against the Patriots and just expect the Titans media to be okay with it?
I think he's talking more about the national media. Like, where are the power rankings going to have us ranked?
Which is also dumb.
This
Why
is
do
the guy
you
who
care?
3 years ago was asked about the power rankings.
But it's the same thing. It's the national media holding the Titans accountable.
And it's not even accountable. It's just like, oh, yeah, no, we think you suck because you lost that crap Steelers team. And this reminds me a couple years ago when the Titans stacked a couple wins, and they asked Vrabel, and they said, Mike, what do you make of the, people around the league, whatever. He's like, yeah, I saw we're up in the power rankings, and hopefully if we win a couple more games, we'll get invited to a better bowl game. Ha, ha, ha. And I was like, oh, that's the perfect answer. Because it's the perfect, fun way of saying, I don't give a rat's ass. This is like, remember when they beat the Rams and Byard and Simmons were talking to NBC after the game, and they were like, yeah, look at who's 7-2 now. I'm like, yo. Calm down. It's October. Calm down. I mean, guys, you still got to win these 2 games. And the one thing about the Mike Vrabel special is there's always a negative for every positive. Every Rams win, there's a Texans loss. Every Chiefs win, there's a Jets loss. Every Steelers loss, there's a Niners win. I thought the number 1 seed was gone when they lost last week to Pittsburgh. And maybe it was Pittsburgh is going to get the benefit of playing Kansas City without Hill and Kelsey. And maybe they can win because of the COVID protocols. Maybe Buffalo can beat New England and the 1 seed comes back into the discussion. You still have to win the next 2 games. But let's not get too carried away about the Titans. They held on for dear life and won a game because A.J. Brown's a great player and Jimmy Garoppolo stinks. Let's not get too caught up in it. And it's one thing to tell the fans, hey, let's not get too caught up in it. I think it's another thing, though, to tell the coach, let's not get too caught up in it. I shouldn't have to hear the coach and say, hey, how about we start thinking about the Dolphins? Because, by the way, we talk about stacking wins and talking about our team's hot and we were left for dead and the Dolphins have been stacking wins and were left for dead, and now all of a sudden might be playing for a playoff spot. 615-737-1025. We'll get to your phones next. Your reaction on a Fireball Hot Take Friday. 615-737-1025 with a Titan win. People are demanding an apology for Dylan Radins, who didn't get Tannehill killed yesterday. Do we owe him one? We will discuss that coming up next. 615-737-1025. By the way, on Fireball Hot Take Friday, it is Free Beer Friday, which is served by Joyland in East Nashville. Text in the keyword joy to the game text line right now, 615-737-1025, to be qualified to win a Joy Beer and Joyland's new Smash Burger Deluxe. So good luck for that. Stillman and Company, it's ESPN 1025 The Game.
Trust the roofers with integrity. E2 Roofing is a veteran-owned and operated local Nashville roofer with over 90 5-star Google ratings and an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. While roofing is our business at E2, honor is our code. For roof repair, roof replacement, free inspections, or insurance claim assistance, visit e2roofingnashville.com.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Temperatures will be warm this afternoon thanks to windy conditions, upper 60s. And for Christmas Day, a run at the record with highs in the mid-70s.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Hey, Darren McFarland here, and I want to talk to you about my friends at Creation CBD. You hear me talk about them every single day because they present Darren, Donick, and Chase, and we are proud to be associated with them and happy about it. And if you have aches and pains, on your body, whether it's from working out, being active, getting older, and you're looking for a solution, well, I've got it. Creation CBD. Creation means healing, and that says a lot. Creation is locally and organically sourced CBD products right here in Middle Tennessee. From seed to final sell, Creation is passionate about providing quality products for everyday use, including your pets. And you've heard me tell this story. Our female German Shepherd has had seizures for over 3 years, and lots of them. No matter how many pills a day she was on, the vet visits, nothing changed. But since putting her on the pet tincture, everything has changed. The seizures have stopped, she's lost weight, and she's a dog again. Right now, Creation CBD has got a special offer for DDC listeners. Go to CreationCompany.com, get 25% off your order by using the code DDC25 at checkout. DDC25 at checkout for 25% off your Creation CBD products. It's Creation CBD, curated for life.
Treating erectile dysfunction with acoustic wave therapy has been getting a lot of attention lately. But you should know that some are promising results we just haven't seen and charging a lot of money for the treatments as well. This is Kim for the Tennessee Men's Clinic. And if you're looking at acoustic wave therapy or any option to help your ED, you really should call us first. Unlike wave therapy only clinics, the Tennessee Men's Clinic wave therapy protocols do use acoustic wave technology. But we also often combine it with other treatments that can give most of our patients far higher satisfaction rates. There is no surgery nor any type of invasive procedure required. And even better, depending on your treatment strategy and with our urologist and provider's guidance, you can likely have sex the day after your appointment. We even have other treatments that can help you last up to an hour. Plus, for a limited time, we're waiving our normal appointment charge, which includes a PSA and T test, and offering a free ultrasound, altogether nearly a $400 value for free. So make an appointment today. Call 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects, treatments, extra results vary.
In 2007, Marine First Lieutenant Travis Manion was killed in Iraq after saving his wounded teammates. Travis's legacy lives on through the words he spoke before his final deployment. If not me, then who? Words that today fuel the spirit of Travis Manion Foundation. And through TMF, these words can live in you too. Show the world what you're made of, because character is invisible until it's not. Find out how you can strengthen the character of your community alongside empowered veterans, families of the fallen, and inspired civilians at travismanion.org.
Robbie Stanley.
That size and that speed just doesn't grow on trees. That could be something that you could really turn into.
Joe Rexrode.
Just hold out and somebody will call in the bad signal.
Get your morning started with Robbie and Rexrode every weekday from 6 to 10. Presented by Volunteer State Bank on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
This is Stillman and Company, delivered by TriStar Moving.
Hey, Coach, as far as Raiders is concerned, can you just kind of get into a little bit, how proud you are of the way he was able to step in, especially going against a guy like Bosa?
Yeah, I think Dylan was excited for the opportunity.
he's continued to improve. He's continued to prepare. We talk about it all the time that you want to be ready for your opportunity. It wasn't perfect, but he battled and really competed. And it was, again, just a special feeling to watch him, come up that tunnel and just be excited about doing some things that help us win.
That was Vrabel today. I was just happy to see him excited to help us be a part of a win. Caroline, could you totally read into that, what Vrabel said? How proud of you were doing. Yeah, it was great to see him be excited coming up the tunnel to be a part of our win.
What else do you expect from him?
I would expect, if he thought that Radens played well, I'd expect him to talk about, boy, I tell you, we were so proud of Dylan, the way Dylan held his own, the way that he talked about Jameel Douglas when he gave him a game ball after they beat Cleveland to start the 2019 season. Dude, I don't know. Laughed. I laughed
think
when
that
Chad
you have
Withrow
your mind
said,
made up about Dylan Radens.
Well, I thought Chad Withrow said it best. Why do we have to treat him like Rudy Rudiger? He was a second-round pick. He played okay. All he did was fall down yesterday. He played okay.
Which was better than you expected. I'm not throwing a parade for Dylan Radens. And obviously neither is Vrabel. He played fine. He did his job.
I think that Vrabel kind of looks at it like, yeah, we got by with it. I think this is one of those things where remember when they lost Derrick Henry, they went to the Rams and they won, and everyone's like, maybe they don't need Derrick Henry. And I was like, no.
They do.
Look, you can get through it one game, and they got through it one game, just like they got through it one game with Tyler Merritt's, playing tackle. Let's see Radens go out there and do this for a second week, and then maybe and again, when I say do this, I mean not get the quarterback killed, which is the same level of accountability that I have for Quessenberry, who I don't think is very good. And I actually think that Radens might have been better than Quessenberry yesterday, which might tell you something a little bit more about Quessenberry. But no, I do not owe Dylan Radens an apology. A second-round, Tyrone Calico was a second-round pick, had a bunch of touchdowns as a rookie, and all anybody ever does is complain about how he was a bust. This guy played in one game that they didn't lose, thanks in large part to the other team's starting quarterback, and I am not about to throw a parade for him. I thought it was great because Kaharski literally asked Vrabel today, if we've got that, Max. Kaharski literally asked Vrabel today about why we need to throw a parade for somebody who just went in there and didn't lose the game.
Most of the time you say when a guy steps in, we fully expected the guy to do his job and next man up and all of that. With Dylan, it seems like, a little festival of pride and congratulations and stuff it's framed differently, that the second round pick is doing something in week 16 and game 15.
No.
You feel that?
No, I don't. What I feel is a rookie that went out and competed against a very good defense, a very good player, that probably earned a lot of trust from his teammates for having stood in there and competed with the effort in which he did and helped us win a big game. That's I know that seems like very trivial to you, having not done that. But for me, who gets to watch that and coach that, that's a pretty cool thing. And I wish more people had the opportunity to do that. I know that the offensive line coaches and that unit is a tight unit. And again, whoever would have been out there, we would have had the same, reaction for them. Whether that was Kendall Lamb, who probably was waiting for an opportunity that unfortunately didn't get it, would have been the same thing.
I felt like Vrabel felt like backed into a corner then to pump him up more, because Kaharski was like, so wait a minute, are we just patting this guy in the back for a second-round pick? I do appreciate the question, though, from Paul in that regard. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. We will get back to your phones, I promise. Coming up next, when everybody says the same thing, isn't there a little bit of a concern? Shouldn't we just, admit that it's a possibility I'll explain what that is next. Stillman and Company right here at ESPN 102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Attention nice list recipients. The Mercedes-Benz winter event is here. Make this season your reason. Forget the halls, deck the garage. Hark, the turbo engines sing. Like hot cocoa in a blizzard, this opportunity won't last long. Hurry for these exclusive offers from Nashville's two-time Best of the Best award-winning Mercedes-Benz of Music City. Just one exit from the airport. Go to mbofmc.com.
Hose and Belting Specialties in Murfreesboro is your local source for hydraulic, air, water, and chemical hoses, along with conveyor, timing, and metric belt needs. They stock metric fittings for both air and hydraulic applications. Hose and Belting Specialties stocks Parker hydraulic hoses and fittings, Goodyear ContiTech industrial hoses, and V-belts, just to name a few of their lines. For any of your industrial needs, call 615-895-HOSE. 615-895-HOSE.
Hi, guys. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, we have a major medical advancement that has helped thousands of men. The Wave technology at Hillside Medical was tested by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic, and the results are in. It's proven to increase blood flow by repairing blood vessels. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED by treating the root cause, call us now. And not only will the assessment and blood flow ultrasound be free, but we'll also include something unique that produces immediate results in the bedroom. You're going to love that. This is a $600 value, free to those that call in the next 2 minutes. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction today and get your love life back just in time for the holidays. Call Hillside Medical now to qualify. 615-576-5000.
Response to Genesis Diamond's fantastic 12 days finance offer was incredible, so we've decided to extend it through Christmas Eve. Last minute shoppers, we're taking care of you at Genesis. You can come in now and get 5 years, 0 interest financing on any holiday purchase. All fashion jewelry is included, all colored gemstone jewelry, and yes, all diamond jewelry, including engagement rings. Get a $12,000 designer ring with a GIA center diamond and pay just $200 a month with 0 down. Or watch her eyes sparkle when she sees that $6,000 pair of diamond earrings you got for just $100 a month. At Genesis Diamonds, celebrating love is our specialty, and there's no better time than the holidays to let us help you show your love in a meaningful way. Don't miss this special extended 5 years, 0 interest finance offer, now through Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas from Genesis Diamonds. Green Hills and Cool Springs. On approved credit, see store for details.
Nashville's best sports talk, locally owned, home of our Nashville Predators. WPRT FM Pegram, 97.5 Murfreesboro, WBUZ HD2 Laverne, online at thegamenashville.com. We are
ESPN
102.5 The Game. Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving. ESPN 102.5 The Game, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. We'll be giving away a pair of Trans-Perfect Music City Bowl tickets later this hour. And we'll be doing what we've done all week, where I'll come up with some kind of Stillman and Company radio show question. And whatever the answer is, the first person who calls in will win those tickets. I have not thought of the question yet, so I can't give them, not prepared to give them out now. Corey Curtis, News 2, will join us in about 15 minutes or so. So I don't totally believe in popularity, like the idea of, well, who's the popular person in school? I don't really believe in that. I don't care if Caroline Fenton was popular in high school or college. That doesn't affect me when it comes to deciding, is this going to be somebody who's a fit for our show? But what I do wonder is what other people are saying. So what do other people say that don't have an emotional attachment to Caroline Fenton? What about people she's worked with? What about people that those are the people you want to talk to before you hire somebody to say, okay, what do we make of this? And sometimes you got to take yourself out of whatever mental fishbowl you're in. Titan fans have a hard time of doing that. They lose a game, there's all these excuses. Well, what about not having A.J. Brown and Julio Jones and Derrick Henry, Jared? Anybody ever wonder about Pittsburgh, who didn't have Juju Smith-Schuster, their number one wide receiver? No, nobody talked about that. You know you beat the Saints because Trevor Siemian was starting at quarterback. Might have been a little different if it was Jameis Winston. Definitely would have been different if it was Drew Brees. Alvin Kamara didn't play in that game either. But when you're stuck in your own fishbowl, sometimes you kind of only think about the things that you want to latch onto. So he started the show today talking about last night's game. I think that there were two people that decided the outcome of the game. Everybody else was just kind of there. A.J. Brown, who was really, really good, and Jimmy Garoppolo, who was really, really bad. And while I don't think we've gotten much pushback from the people that are saying, no, Jared, Jimmy wasn't bad, I feel like a lot of the reaction, and Caroline, you can back me up on this, I feel like a lot of the reaction has been kind of ignoring how bad Jimmy was and focusing more on the good things the Titans did. Fair?
That's fair.
I cannot overstate how bad Jimmy Garoppolo was yesterday. And if you get in a playoff game and the other team's quarterback plays this bad, you may win by default. Could you imagine getting into the Super Bowl and Dak Prescott having this kind of performance? Oh, my goodness, I'd take it in a heartbeat. The Titans smoked the Patriots at Nissan Stadium 3 years ago. Just smoked them. And Floyd said to me, I've never seen Tom Brady play that poorly before. And this is a guy who's competed against Tom Brady, a guy who's competed with Tom Brady, and obviously been on the radio as Tom Brady was doing his thing. And he said, I've never seen Brady play that poorly before. I don't watch a lot of Jimmy G. I just know the 49ers aren't committed to Jimmy G long term because they went out and got his replacement. But I'm also not taking the cheese on Jimmy G. So what are the people around the country saying about the Titans' big win yesterday? Shannon Sharp, Hall of Famer. He's got no dog in this fight. He didn't play for San Francisco. He didn't play for the Titans. He doesn't have a beef with either team. Shannon, what happened last night?
Jimmy G was awful. Skip that first interception that he threw to Jack Rabbit. I don't know what he saw. Jack Rabbit was playing outside leverage on Kittle, but he never moved. He didn't expand, and so when Kittle ran the little hook right inside, Jack Rabbit was right there.
He was like the primary receiver.
Yeah. Look at this, Skip. Jack Rabbit, he stares him down.
And that's for 14-0 now, and maybe that'd be a death.
Look at Jack Rabbit.
Yeah.
Jack Rabbit says, "Oh, you throwing it to him?"
Oh, thank you. Yeah. He'll catch it.
That's at worst case scenario, Skip. That's 3 points. You're gonna get 3 out of that. You get nothing, Skip. If you didn't watch the game and you just looked at the stats this morning, you like, man, Jimmy G was 26 and 35, 333.
Yep.
With a touchdown and 2. Like, dang, they should have won. Debo had 9 for $159. But if you watch the game, a game that should have been 17-0, maybe 21-0.
Yep.
He kept the Titans in the ball game.
So Shannon saying, hey, that was Jimmy right there that did that for the Titans. In fact, Shannon said that last night proved exactly why San Francisco doesn't even like Jimmy.
This is why they went and got Trey Lance. This is why they traded all those.
They traded the sun and the moon.
Because you got a guy that he can't really stay healthy. And when he stays healthy, he makes the most. What are you thinking? Listen, I've known Kyle Shanahan since he was about 10 or 11 years old.
Yep.
I watched him hold a cord for his dad on our sidelines. So I know him. I know how his dad feels about mistakes, especially at that position, because he said you cannot win if that guy, because he touches the ball on every single play. If he turns it over, you can't win with that. Kyle Shanahan, Jimmy G, you got to be the you-know-what. Skip, he cost his team.
So Shannon's basically putting the loss on Jimmy Garoppolo. What about the other channel? What are they saying on ESPN about the Titans? Ryan Clark asked about last night's game. In fact, was asked whether or not this was a sign of the Titans or an indictment of the 49ers.
It was an indictment on Jimmy G. I mean, if you're Kyle Shanahan, if you're the San Francisco 49ers, you have to feel like Clark Griswold did when Eddie moved his trailer onto his property right before Christmas. You have to feel like everything was going well. We have wide receivers. We have an excellent offensive line. Our tight end is great. Our defense is fighting and scrapping. Jimmy G, 2 interceptions. Jimmy G misses a 4th down throw to Brandon Ayuk. And yes, I know the people that support Jimmy G are going to say he led a touchdown late, but this is the team that can win a Super Bowl, a team that can contend for the NFC. And because of who they have at quarterback, they cannot.
So he's throwing Jimmy under the bus too. And Rob Ninkovich, who was Jimmy's teammate in New England. And hey, what do we remember about Floyd and the New England Brotherhood? If you were in New England and somebody else was in New England at the same time, you can never say anything bad about that person. That is the New England Brotherhood to a T. We can watch Matt Castle as backup of the Titans lead the inept offense against the Dolphins, and Floyd's not going to throw him under the bus because it's the New England Brotherhood, and that's the rule. Rob Ninkovich on ESPN, Jimmy G's teammate. Even he today was talking about Jimmy.
Well, I've had Jimmy G's back from day one. It's tough when you see the interceptions and some of the just bad football. And, you know, I think the writing was on the wall when they drafted the first-round quarterback to the 49ers, and everyone knew.
So everybody is slamming Jimmy G today. Can we just accept the fact that Jimmy G was the second best player in a Titans uniform yesterday? Can we just accept that? Because I feel like Titan fans, Caroline, are too caught up in the emotion that they don't want to be honest with themselves about just how much Garoppolo helped them win last night.
Well, that very much so was the case, and it's exactly what happened against the Steelers. The Titans had that game won, and then they handed it on a platter to Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers and said, you know what, no, we actually don't want to win this game, so we're going to turn the ball over 4 times.
Yep.
I think that Jimmy Garoppolo absolutely handed the game away. But I also think that Jimmy G could have played poorly, and the Titans played better than they have in the past couple of weeks. I think both of those things independently can be true.
Do you think they played better than they played against Jacksonville?
I mean, that's hard to tell against a 49ers team and a Jacksonville team. Because Jacksonville's terrible.
The Jacksonville game looked like they went through the motions, but that in neither half they did anything good nor bad. Like they just went out there and they just, whatever. And Jacksonville was so bad and in such a bad spot mentally that it didn't really matter. This game looked like the Titans were not prepared to play. I mean, all of the mistakes. San Francisco marches right down the field, scores a touchdown. The Titans are throwing screen passes 4 yards in the backfield and getting tackled. The play calling was atrocious in the first half. The decision-making from the quarterback was awful in the first half. The coverage was horrible in the first half. They had the one play where Kyle Juszczyk ran up the sideline, and Kevin Byard just let him go right behind him and had no safety help behind him. And luckily for the Titans, Jimmy threw it into the 8th row. And the 49ers were on their way on the second or third drive, just marching right along, and Kittle's standing there, and he throws the ball right to Jackrabbit. If that's 14-0, that's ball game over. Goodbye, see you. Then nothing that happened in the second half would have happened. And yet, when I say something like that, because this is what happens. If the 49ers got a big lead, now the Titans have to throw on every snap. And the Titans are literally going to throw it 48 times last night. 52 times last night. 14-0, you're at your own 30, you're throwing it, you get sacked, now you've got bad field position, now you punt to San Francisco, they get the ball around midfield, and they have all the momentum. And if it gets to 21-0, it is over, and there is no shot of coming back. And because Jimmy threw the ball right to Jackrabbit, it allowed you to continue into the game. It was 10-0, and he threw the ball right to Rashaan Evans at his 30, and Rashaan dropped it. Like, that's the crazy thing about how bad Jimmy was they still had a chance to win. And I don't give Jimmy any credit for that touchdown drive at the end of the game. He threw the ball to Deebo Samuel, and for some reason the Titans were unaware of the one dude on the field that could beat him. And boy, Deebo, I thought he was going to take that one to the house. Just poor angles from the Titans. But, I mean, we got to be honest here. Like, I don't know how you can get excited about the football team other than AJ, and maybe that is enough to be excited. I don't know how you can get excited about the football team other than it's a week-to-week league, and here are the standings, and if the Colts lose tomorrow, you're in the playoffs as a division winner from yesterday's game, because it's almost like you have to ignore the obvious that Jimmy Garoppolo was just that terrible.
You didn't think there was anything that you took away from that game yesterday that gave you at least a little bit of excitement for the Titans moving forward?
Other than AJ. Question mark.
Sure, other than AJ.
No. Is there supposed to be?
I was encouraged that there were no turnovers. And I know that's what you're supposed to do as an NFL team, that you're not supposed to turn the ball over. You're not supposed to fumble the ball. You're not supposed to throw interceptions. I understand that. But I also think that we are looking at a Titans team that has had a certified turnover problem. So I think that I'm allowed to be a little bit excited about the fact that the Titans didn't turn the ball over yesterday.
How many times did the Titans turn the ball over last week?
4 or 5.
How many times did they turn it over the week before that?
4 or 5.
0.
Against Jacksonville?
Yeah.
That's true. That's right. They didn't turn it over against Jacksonville.
So if you're going to turn it over 0 times and turn it over 4 times, I'm not getting excited that you turn it over 0 times this week. Because next week against No, so you didn't turn it over against Jacksonville. And I gave Tannehill a game ball for not turning the ball over against Jacksonville. Then they turned it over 4 times. So now they turn it over no times. Well, I'm not getting excited about that because 2 weeks ago you didn't turn the ball over and then you turned it over 4 times. So I'm not getting carried away with that. I mean, Bud Dupree just kind of proved what I already had thought about his impact for the team, so I'm not getting carried away over that. And then defense, I'm not getting really carried away because I think that Jimmy was the best defensive player for the Tennessee Titans yesterday. Special teams, Kern had a great punt, and Bullock made the field goal, though it was by an inch of an eyelash, to get it in there from 44, which is not like an NFL special. So other than AJ and the fact that Tannehill got a little bit of confidence because of AJ, probably not. And remember that Brian Flores of the Dolphins, he's going to watch this tape too. Like, Brian Flores is going to watch this tape before you play. I highly doubt he's going to let the Titans throw the ball to AJ on every 3rd down. Unless maybe AJ's just that good at this point in his career. Corey Curtis, News 2, will join us next here on the program. His reaction to the Titans win. Should you be excited about it? Should we be giving credit to all these people that the text line just demands I give credit to? We'll do that coming up next. Fireball Hot Take Friday. No better way to celebrate the holidays than by enjoying ice-cold Fireball Cinema Whiskey. It goes down so smooth, and it tastes so great. I absolutely love Fireball Cinema Whiskey. If you're going to be spending time with your family and you're going to be making a trip before that Christmas Eve or Christmas night dinner, be sure to pick up Fireball Cinema Whiskey. It will go over so well. And, of course, for your New Year's Eve parties, you got to celebrate with Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey. Ignite the night. Please do responsibly and be 21 years or older to enjoy. That's Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey.
Audible is best-selling audiobooks, exclusive originals, and podcasts all in one app. This holiday season, treat yourself with 60% off your first 3 months. Just visit audible.com for more details.
Response to Genesis Diamond's fantastic 12 days finance offer was incredible. So we've decided to extend it through Christmas Eve. Last-minute shoppers, we're taking care of you at Genesis. You can come in now and get 5 years, 0-interest financing on any holiday purchase. All fashion jewelry is included, all colored gemstone jewelry, and yes, all diamond jewelry, including engagement rings. Get a $12,000 designer ring with a GIA center diamond and pay just $200 a month with 0 down. Or watch her eyes sparkle when she sees that $6,000 pair of diamond earrings you got for just $100 a month. At Genesis Diamonds, celebrating love is our specialty, and there's no better time than the holidays to let us help you show your love in a meaningful way. Don't miss this special extended 5 years, 0-interest finance offer, now through Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas from Genesis Diamonds. Green Hills and Cool Springs. On approved credit, see store for details.
You already know the best burger place in town is Joyland in East Nashville.
Now it's your chance to work for them. Joyland is looking for cooks to join their incredible team as soon as possible. Joyland offers employee benefits like insurance, HSA, FSA plans, short-term disability, $1,000 baby bonus for anyone that is expecting or adopting, paid time off, travel discounts, $350 bonus after 60 days, and more. Email info@eatjoyland.com to apply now. Joyland is an equal opportunity employer.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Ready for an oil change? We can help get the right protection at the right price. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Valvoline Daily Protection or Valvoline Max Life High Mileage Motor Oil with an STP oil filter for just $28.99. Visit one of our 6,000 stores or order from AutoZone.com for same-day store pickup or next-day delivery.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
In college football, Goodyear knows a new season means new possibilities, where every Saturday is an opportunity on the road to greatness. No matter if you're out there playing your hardest or cheering the loudest from the sidelines, tailgating in the parking lot, or your favorite spot to watch the game, Goodyear knows passion is what drives us forward all the way to the playoffs. That's the road that moves us. Goodyear, more driven.
Interact with Stillman and Company. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
I really got to come up with what I'm going to do to give away these tickets. Again, Stillman and Company live from the Hillside Medical Game Studio. What am I going to do to give away these Music City Bowl tickets? I'll give them away later this hour. I got to come up with a Stillman and Company trivia question. I've had a couple in my head, and then I've just forgotten about them. Anywho, bowl season is the best season. ESPN The Game Nashville is your radio home for the college football bowl games and the college football playoff, brought to you by 312 Pizza Company in Germantown and Central Barbecue. 312 Pizza Company is a perfect spot to catch every bowl game during bowl season. For a full list of games on 102.5 The Game and ESPN 94.9, hit up the website at thegamenashville.com/bowl games. Titans winners on Thursday night football. And I know people get mad at me when I talk about how bad Jimmy Garoppolo was, or this, that, or the other. Corey Curtis joins us now, News 2. So, Corey, I predicted the Titans were going to win this game. I didn't think that they would be as bad in the first half as they were, but they did beat San Francisco. Now a loss tomorrow from Indianapolis puts them in the playoffs. The 1 seed still seems a little far-fetched. What did you take away from last night's Titans victory?
That A.J. Brown does mean more to this offense moving forward, I think, than Derrick Henry does. Not that Derrick Henry isn't the best player on the team, not that they don't need him, but without A.J., it really stalls things, and we see that. And so it's imperative that they have him on the field if they're going to do anything, if they're going to approach greatness. Number 2, I think you were talking about this earlier in the week, Bud Dupree is clearly a game changer for the defense and makes everybody around him better. And I think that group knows it. And I think when that group lines up with their 4 guys up front, they feel like they can stop anybody. And because that's the way they play. And so I feel good about this defense going into the postseason, that they can give them a chance to beat anybody. And then the other thing is the thing that I've seen all season, that this team can take a punch, that they can get, absolutely cold-cocked and keep moving forward. And I think that's a great characteristic of the football team.
See, I will be, I guess, Mr. Negative Nancy here, the Grinch or whatever you want to call you on Christmas. What bothers me about that idea of like, hey, the Titans started off super slow and they were so terrible in the first half, but they came back in the second half. I look at that and I'm like, if they have that performance against a better quarterback in a playoff game that matters, that game may be over before the Titans found their groove last night, and that scares me. And that's why, like, San Francisco to me is a fringe playoff team. Like they're, probably like what Buffalo is in the AFC or Indianapolis, like they're going to make the playoffs in the NFC and they'll get bounced in the first round, and then Jimmy will leave and Trey Lance will be their quarterback. Like when I watch this game, I'm like, if they played this way against a good team, Kansas City and Arrowhead, they'd get run out of the building. And that's why I was bothered by their performance yesterday, because against anybody who's any good, you lose.
Taking a punch, I mean at any point in the game. That something goes wrong or they're not playing well, it's not the end of the day. they keep charging forward until they get it figured out. And that can happen at any point in the game. So that's what I'm talking about from that point of view. How did they play in the first half? Not great. Now, look, defensively, I thought they were good all day. I thought Kyle Shanahan's opening drive was fantastic, and I think he deserves to be applauded for that opening drive. I thought their use of misdirection was fantastic, and I thought they really put together a good opening drive. But I mean, look, when you put the last 2 quarters of Pittsburgh with the first 2 quarters of this game, they had 77 yards passing over 4 quarters. Okay, you're not going to beat many people doing that. That was ugly. And I think the thing that was really ugly to me in the first half was I felt like they were playing not to turn the ball over. They looked afraid to try to do anything because they didn't want to risk putting the ball in jeopardy. And then in the second half, I think that kind of got thrown aside, and they just said, let's do this. If we're going to play, we're going to play. Go get the ball downfield. And it looked like a completely different thing. But I thought offensively they looked almost timid in the first half. And San Francisco is not a timid team. They will take it to you. And I agree with you. San Francisco is not a world beater. They're a good team. They've got some really good players, but they're not a world beater. But, it's also not Jacksonville or Houston.
I just look at this game and I think, kind of like the Steeler game, I went into it and I picked the Steelers to win, but I said, okay, you just have to find a way to eke out a victory over the Steelers. That's all that matters, and it doesn't matter how you get it because A.J. Brown is coming back next week. Mm-hmm. And so when they weren't able to get that win over the Steelers, it kind of turned me off on the team because I don't think that they can get to L.A. without having the 1 seed. I don't think they can go on the road. Maybe if they're the 2 seed and they only have to play 1 road game or not even a road game and they get lucky and someone does their dirty work for them. But I really felt like they needed to avoid playing both New England and Kansas City, and they needed that game at home, whomever they did play against. It looks like that'll be on the road. In this game, I felt like they were going to win because Thursday Night Football favors the home team, and I thought San Francisco got tired in the second half. I just don't think, other than the fact that A.J. is a really good player, which we already knew, I just don't think there's anything tangible about this game to feel good about or pump your chest other than the reality that a win is a win in the NFL. But I kind of feel like the Titans may be getting a false sense of security after this win.
Well, I mean, when you look at San Francisco, look at 5-1 in their last 6. Look how many points they're scoring. They're scoring 30 points a game in that stretch.
I know, but it's Atlanta and Jacksonville, and I'm not going to sit here and claim that I know a lot about the 49ers because I don't, and I don't really watch the 49ers much. And after watching yesterday, I know exactly why they traded 3 first-round picks to get a quarterback because that quarterback was terrible last night. But I watched TV before the game, and Louis Riddick was talking, about, the Titans struggles. They're so bad this, so bad that, so bad. San Francisco might be the best team to go on the road and beat Green Bay. And I'm like, this guy hasn't watched either team play. And that's kind of how I feel about San Francisco. I think San Francisco, with that quarterback, they are one and done in the NFC playoffs.
Look, Deebo Samuel is a fantastic football player.
Sure.
And George Kittle is a really good player. And then they've got some other pieces. And generally, their attack, they run the football well, no matter who's back there. And you're right. The whole key is the guy pulling the trigger. Because when he's playing well, and in that opening drive, his head coach had him. I mean, it was almost very Jared Goff, Sean McVay-like. You know what I'm saying? Where he was like he had all week to get Jimmy G ready for that first drive. And he went right down the field like a hot knife through butter. But then as the Titans adjust things and the game goes along and they make their adjustments, can the quarterback adjust along with it? And, look, he made some nice plays, and he's capable of making good plays. But the thing that you see about him is in critical situations, just some monumental mistakes. I mean, you can't throw an interception into the end zone. You can't. You can't do that.
Corey, I thought he had 5 horrendous passes last night. The interception
throw?
The one the ball into the end zone. The ball into the end zone, the Ayuk throw, the interception to Hooker, the not interception right in the hands of Rashaan Evans.
Yeah.
And the ball where he overthrew Kyle Juszczyk, who busted a coverage and probably would have gotten to about the 7-yard line.
Mm.
And I just don't think that you can, if Tannehill won the game and had 5 throws like that, we'd be going nuts. You know, if Tannehill made 5 egregiously terrible throws that cost his team a game. I just want to be honest with the people and say, hey, you won the game, good, move on to the Dolphins. But I don't think Tua is going to come in here and throw 5 balls like that, much less Patrick Mahomes or Bill Belichick's quarterback.
Listen, I agree with what you're saying, but I also look at this Titans team and understand, to me, that you're still pointed towards the postseason and getting all your guys back and getting this thing rolling again. I mean, you had A.J. Brown back for 1 game. You played without Saffold and you played without Lewan, all right? You know, you're missing some of those key components to running the football, what you do really well and didn't do really well in this game, because there were times they got it handed to them on the line of scrimmage. And I agree with you, what you said earlier, that I thought Radens at time was better than Quisenberry in this game. I think Quisenberry might lead the league in sacks allowed. I think it's like 11 or something this season.
Quisenberry's awful.
He saved himself one with a holding penalty last night.
Well, he may have saved the ball game with that holding penalty because, where I was sitting, I was on the opposite side. Tannehill had no idea Bosa was there, and he was going to throw, and Bosa was going to kill him.
Well, and that was the other thing. Is you notice at halftime, Bosa switched sides. He was on Raden's side to start the game. Second half, he went over to Quisenberry's side. And
I thought he switched. I thought he switched at halftime to Raden's side and then switched back to Quisenberry.
Oh, I just noticed something. I just noticed he was on the other side of the field for the second half, and it may have happened at a different time, but that's where I felt I had seen it. But I just thought it was interesting, and not that he gave up on rushing Radens, but he said, let's go over here and take a shot on this guy. And I thought he had a little more success.
Corey Curtis, News 2, is our guest. How big of a deal? TD talked about this yesterday. I think this is legitimate, that Ryan Tannehill had lost a little bit of his cockiness. I thought Tannehill kind of got back into a little bit of a groove that we haven't seen him in a while when he hit the free play to A.J. Brown for the big shot that kind of got it rolling. Then we saw a great throw from Tannehill in the end zone, and we saw that run during the 2-minute drill, a lot like the Kansas City game a couple years ago. How tangible is that going forward for Tannehill?
Well, I think it's really important, and I think you're right on the money, because I look at the throw that really looked different to me was the 18-yard touchdown. I mean, he let that thing rip before Brown had made the break yet, and there were like 3 defenders there, and popped it right in there, and he didn't even hesitate. Where, he's throwing to some of these other guys, and it's not with the same confidence or vigor or assertiveness, And, he with AJ out there, all of a sudden he's dropping back and he's just letting it rip. And it's just, you could hear it when he talked about it earlier in the week, when he was asked about, how much time does it take for you guys to get back together? He goes, AJ and I have so many reps together, we're good. And you saw that. Now, it did look like when they started the game, they were willing to take many of those shots down the field. Everything they were trying to do was 5 yards and under, and the 49ers were a little bit keyed in on 11 to start the game, so it didn't work real well. But I thought he looked much different throwing him the football. And then as you look at the team going forward, look at the 13-yard play to Ferkser. That's all because of A.J. Brown, okay? So he opens other things up. I also thought he opened up the run game some in the second half as well. But, look, I mean, we talk about great players making great coaches. Part of Joe Montana's brilliance is throwing to Jerry Rice, right?
Sure.
Throwing to that big tight end he had, or Roger Craig, or Tim Rathman. I mean, he had great players around him, and Troy Aikman had a few great players around him, and A.J. Brown is going to make Ryan Tannehill better. And that's why we get excited about this team, is because you think with an A.J. Brown, and if Julio Jones can ever be a part of this thing with him, and possibly Derrick Henry coming back, you got a chance. You got 3 star caliber players to put around your quarterback, and hopefully, I mean, that's what we came into the season talking about, was that these guys could open up things for other people. but none of them have been on the field long enough to do it or see it. And so and yet they're still 10-5. And I think that's, I know you're talking about this false sense of security. They've been holding this thing together with duct tape and bubble gum, and they're still 10-5. And I think that's what gives fans ultimate hope going into the postseason.
Corey Curtis, News 2, is our guest. I'll be on News 2 Sports Extra on Sunday night. When we do Sports Extra Sunday night, will the Tennessee Titans be the AFC South champions?
I'll say yes because I'm not like the NFL, and I'm not in love with this Colts team. I'm not completely infatuated with Carson Wentz and the Colts like the entire rest of the National Football League. I don't understand it. Andrew Luck hasn't been there in a few years. Peyton Manning hasn't been there even longer. But they still get treated like NFL royalty at 8-6, and that's fine. I don't believe in them. I believe they've got some good players, but I believe their quarterback will crumble in the clutch.
Fireball Hot Take Friday. What's your hot take this week, Corey?
I thought that was pretty good right there, man. Fire it away. The quarterback's going to crumble. Here's my hot take, and I'll give it to you. You talk about the Titans not being able to go on the road. I don't care in the AFC where they go and who they play. I like this team. I like their toughness. That's not saying that they're going to necessarily do it. I wouldn't be afraid to take this team anywhere and go play.
I do not feel the same way. Corey Curtis.
And you know what? That's what makes the world go round. By the way, I love your sweater today. I did mention that on Twitter.
Thank you. Celebrating every holiday, even though my holiday ended like a month ago.
I should have my daughter come over and sing Dreidel, but she's not here.
That's okay. Corey Curtis, News 2, as always. Where is she?
She's in the other room. She's hunting for Bigfoot or something.
Oh, yeah. Well, hopefully Santa will grace her, one or two more times down the stretch here. Corey, appreciate you as always. Have a very Merry Christmas and a happy holiday.
All right, happy holiday to you. Look forward to having you Sunday night at 10:35 on Sports Extra. Be there.
Oh, I am excited. Corey Curtis, News 2, joining us, presented by Invigorate Health, online at InvigorateHealthTN.com. His appearance on Stillman and Company is presented by Invigorate Health in Mount Juliet. Look and feel your best with IV therapy, which I've done, medical weight loss, testosterone, health and wellness, which I've done, body shaping treatments, which I've done. Go to InvigorateHealthTN.com for more info. I absolutely love Invigorate Health, by the way, for what that's worth. So Corey thinks that the Titans can go on the road anywhere, anytime. Meet us there. We'll see you. Don't worry about it. They went on the road 5 days ago against a quarterback who can't throw anymore and a team that can't stop the run, and they lost, right? Okay. Coming up next, the one difference that I have with that take, there's only one thing that really bothers me about Corey's take about not worrying about the Titans on the road, and I want to get to that coming up. And it's interesting because Skip Bayless, of all people, actually makes a little bit of sense. We'll get to that coming up next. Stillman and Company, Fireball Hot Take Friday. Happy holidays, everybody. It's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
This is Mikhail Kralin, and this is Nashville.
Rebound shoveled in by Mikhail Kralin, and the Predators have tied it up on the power play.
This is the flagship of the Nashville Predators Radio Network, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Family Leisure would like to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas from our family to yours
throughout this holiday season.
And to celebrate this joyous season, Family Leisure is having a Christmas sale up to 50% off everything in the store.
Wow, that'll really help out.
Arcade games, game tables, pool tables, even shuffleboard tables are on sale. Foosball and air hockey tables as low as $1.99 as well.
A pool table and game table from Family are a great gift for the family.
Family Leisure has spas in stock and on sale and ready for immediate delivery.
Wow, that sounds like a great gift to us.
Family Leisure has up to 50% off on infrared saunas, ready for immediate delivery as well.
But what about something for the kids?
Family Leisure has deluxe outdoor play gyms on sale and starting at just $26.99 installed. Vuli trampolines start at $22.99.
That all sounds great.
That's Family Leisure's Christmas sale going on now.
At both huge locations, Franklin and Antioch.
Family and fun come together.
Do great prices and selection on trucks and SUVs still exist? They do in Truckville. Sarah Chevrolet Buick GMC of Nashville has the largest selection in Tennessee. and we keep getting fresh stock on our lots every day. We're committed to offering you our best price and a 5-star experience, which is why we're still known as the destination for trucks and SUVs. Come visit Truckville, Tennessee today in person or online at saranashville.com.
Touchdown, Boilermakers! Witness tomorrow's NFL stars this month at the TransPerfect Music City Bowl.
First down, hand off, tailback, right up the middle to the 30. He's out of here. 20 to the 10, crank up Rocky Top. Touchdown, right up the middle.
Don't miss a second as Tennessee and Purdue, two of college football's top programs, go head-to-head on Thursday, December 30th at 2 p.m. inside Nissan Stadium. For more information on this year's game, including ticket availability, visit MusicCityBowl.com. Presented by the Tennessee Lottery.
Still working on that Christmas list? Hurry into Electronic Express for your last-minute gifts. Get huge savings with up to 50% off in every department. 4K TVs, computers, gaming, speakers and headphones, smart home, housewares, and more. That's not all. Get up to 40% off all your appliance needs. Plus, buy now, pay later with up to 36 months free financing. We've got the last-minute Christmas gifts you need at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Hey, it's Jared Stillman. Guys, are you tired of feeling old? You know that feeling. You don't have any energy. You're gaining pounds. Well, guess what? My friends at Invigorate Health are the ones to help you. They don't just focus on one area of the aging body. They take care of all of it with so many different therapies that can restore your vitality and are designed with you specifically in mind. So give them a try. Invigorate Health, if you want to feel young again. Out in Mount Juliet at 615-288-4777 or invigoratehealthtn.com.
ESPN's Turon Davenport breaks down the Titans like no other.
On the field chemistry, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a process.
Catch TD Mondays at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Fridays at 8. Plus, the Talking with TD podcast drops every Wednesday.
When you draft players, it's not just for one season, it's for a career.
Presented by FreedomTireGuys.com, Nashville's premier mobile tire company, and Craneworks and Rental Works, your source for crane and equipment rental. Visit Craneworks.com. Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is Matthias Ekholm. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
I am in a very Santa Claus mood today, so I'm going to give away a pair of tickets to the TransPerfect Music City Bowl. Here's the question. Be the first at 615-737-1025 to tell Max Hers the correct answer. Every single day during Jared and the GM's tenure, we always asked the GM how he was doing. How would he respond every single day? It is a one-word answer. If you know that word, call in right now, 615-737-1025, and you will be going to the TransPerfect Music City Bowl on Thursday, December 30th, between the Tennessee Volunteers and the Purdue Boilermakers at Nissan Stadium. Good luck for that. So, Corey Curtis said that he is not afraid whatsoever of the Titans going on the road in the playoffs. And I could not disagree more. Do I think the Titans could win a game on the road in the playoffs? Yes, I do. I think they could win one by going on the road to Foxborough and winning a game, going on the road to Arrowhead like they did in 2017 and winning a game. Can they do what they did a couple years ago? Foxborough, Baltimore, Arrowhead, and win 2 games in a row? Beat the Patriots, win a game at home against a better quarterback than yesterday, like Joe Burrow, then go on the road, then beat Kansas City, then beat the Patriots. I don't think they can. I just struggle with that one. Skip Bayless, though, made the same claim, which is why I took the Pittsburgh loss so hard on Sunday about the Titans today. Here's what Skip Bayless said. I guess Max wasn't ready on the trigger with that one. Skip Bayless said, don't let the Titans get the 1 seed. That's how I feel. Caroline, do you agree with Corey that he's not worried anywhere, anytime, any whatever that they can win? Or do you think that they need to be at home and not have to go on the road and get the bye and whatever? Because Pittsburgh's in the COVID protocols. New England's got a tough test with Buffalo. And what's the other one? The Colts are probably going to lose. Maybe, who knows? Colts are playing at Arizona tomorrow. What do you make of Corey's take that they can go on the road and win?
I mean, I think it would be an incredibly difficult feat. I mean, you go on the road in Foxborough against a Bill Belichick coach team in January. It's awfully cold in New England in January. Going on the road to Arrowhead, that's a really menacing environment. I'm with you. I think the Titans can win a game on the road. I don't think that they're going to, go into the playoffs and be one and done, but it's going to be incredibly difficult to consecutively win games on the road in the playoffs against incredibly talented teams. But I will counter this. What if Derrick Henry comes back?
See, here's the problem. I think both the Patriots and the Chiefs are very unforgiving teams. So, for example, like last night, Jimmy Garoppolo forgave some of your mistakes. Like, you can't drop a ball. I was texting with Floyd's daughter-in-law. You cannot drop a ball when the quarterback throws it right in your hands down 10-0 at your own 30-yard line, or at their 30-yard line. You can't drop that ball. Jimmy put that ball right in the hands of Rashaan Evans, and he dropped it. And I was texting Floyd's daughter-in-law, and I was like, I literally could hear Floyd saying, this is the NFL now. You can't drop interceptions like that and expect to win. And in New England, like San Francisco last night, gave you some of those mistakes. You make mistakes like that, you drop one interception against Kansas City, he's not throwing another one. You play the Patriots. We saw this when they played the Patriots a couple weeks ago. Mac Jones put a ball right in Dylan Cole's hands. And if Dylan Cole catches it, he probably runs into the end zone for a touchdown. You fumble the ball against New England, they will not forgive your mistakes. And the Titans make more mistakes on the road than they do at home, sans the Texans game. They make more mistakes on the road than they do at home. And the Titans really play up when they're at Nissan Stadium. I think home field does matter. And so you bring up Derrick Henry, I think that only helps if you get Derrick Henry. And again, I think you can beat one of these teams once. I think that's the hard part of the 2 or the 3 seed is you probably have to beat them both. You have to beat New England one week and turn around and beat Kansas City at Kansas City the next week. And I just don't see the Titans not making mistakes when this season they have made a ton of mistakes. Go back to the Jets game when they had Derrick Henry. They have made mistakes all season long, and I just don't see them going 2 games or 3 games now because you got to win the one at home where they don't make any of those mistakes. They won the division last year. What was it? Corey said they're 10-5. They're 10-5. Okay, they were 11-5 and won the division last year. Whoop-de-freaking do. They went into a Ravens game where they made 1 or 2 critical mistakes. They let Lamar Jackson take a run to the house, kind of like Deebo Samuel last night, and then they had the other one, and I just think they make too many mistakes for me to be able to go on the road and win too much in a playoff. And I'm not guaranteeing that if they get the 1 seed that they're going to get to Los Angeles. But I think they got a pretty good shot if they do. This is a big weekend. It's a big weekend for the Titans. Kansas City's got COVID issues. They're going to be playing without Hill and Kelsey at Pittsburgh. Maybe the Steelers can do you a favor after beating you last week. Buffalo is a tough matchup for the Patriots. This is a big week for the Titans. You ready for Six Pack Picks? That's coming up next. A holiday edition of Six Pack Picks where Caroline tries to get put 2021 in her rearview mirror with a good week, and we will
Truly
do that.
Would be a Christmas miracle.
A Christmas miracle. I like that. TriStar Moving, my official movers. If you're looking to move around the first of the year, a lot of people move. Leases are up. You want to get out, you've got to do it. Call TriStar Moving. They will help you move. They helped me move when I moved a year ago, and I absolutely loved them. I'm glad that we're such great partners with them because it gives me the opportunity to tell you how much I enjoyed my move. I'm thankful for them this holiday season for how well they have helped our community. And that's why their motto is TriStar Moving with 5-star service. Their owners, Garrett and Robert, are true Nashvillians, and they care about this community. And that's why I'm so glad to be able to tell you about how much I love them. And they moved me perfectly. No issues at either home, and everything was taken care of. So if you're looking to move, give my friends at TriStar Moving a call. 615-640-1219 or visit their website at nashvillemoving.org/radio where they'll give you 5% off your entire move. That's TriStar Moving, 615-640-1219, nashvillemoving.org/radio. Tell them Jared Stillman sent you for 5% off. TriStar Moving, my official movers.
Mucinex is the #1 OTC brand doctors trust for themselves and their families. So with cold and flu season upon us, why would you use anything else? Available at CVS.
Closer, bolder, golden. Nashville SC Stadium is arriving in 2022, and season tickets are on sale now. With just 150 feet between the pitch and the last row, you'll be right there in the action no matter where you sit. If you thought soccer in Nashville was a party already, you ain't seen nothing yet. So come on in, grab a seat, and stay a while as we open a new era of Nashville sports. For more information on season tickets at the new Nashville SC Stadium, visit nashvillesc.com/22 ticks.
Here we are again, Finn, stocking up for the big day at Port Vu.
That's right, Jolly. 10,000 square feet of wine spirits and over 1,500 domestic import and craft beers with a massive array of canned cocktails. Port Vu has an amazing selection.
Port Vu makes it easy to stock the sleigh with everything we'll need for our holiday parties and even last-minute gift ideas.
But will it all fit in the sleigh?
Not to worry, Finn. I placed our order on the online Port Vu app, and I've arranged for curbside pickup at no charge. They even offer home delivery for the rest.
What you getting for Trixie? Hard to find small batch, special selections, tequila?
Yes, Trixie loves that tequila, just like Blitzen.
That's how he got his name, huh?
Ooh, party supplies. Everything for our elf soiree. And Port Vu always gives us 10% off wine by the case.
What are we getting the big guy?
Well, after a long night of flying around the world, he likes to kick back with a good stogie. Port Vu has a walk-in humidor full of fine cigars.
Look, a tasting bar.
Port Vu, Indian Lake Boulevard in Hendersonville.
Joyland is a fun new concept by Chef Sean Brock, designed to spread joy. Joyland is the new fast food, inspired by Chef Brock's love for cheeseburgers, shakes, buttermilk biscuits, fries, and fried chicken. Joyland is now open in East Nashville, Wednesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., Sunday, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. And now, Joyland is open late. Yep, you heard that right. Every Friday and Saturday night from 11 p.m. till 2 a.m., Joyland is serving up their late night meltdown menu for you night owls. Go check it out and find some joy and eat Joyland at night.
When a nasty cold keeps you up all night, Vicks NyQuil Severe gives you powerful relief from your worst cold and flu symptoms, which changes a night like this into a night like this. That's better. NyQuil Severe. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, sore throat, stuffy head, aching, fever, best sleep with a cold, medicine. Use as directed.
Find it in the cold and flu aisle at a Walmart near you.
Stillman and Company is on. Delivered by TriStar Moving.
By the way, the answer for the Music City Bowl tickets, and we did have a winner, the answer was outstanding, which is how the GM started every single show. GM, how you doing? Outstanding. By the way, coming on as soon as we're off here at 4 o'clock, we hope everybody has a great holiday. Floyd Reese, a true Titan, the Ring of Honor special, will be following as soon as we are out here. Congratulations to me, Caroline.
Why?
Because one of us has already started off 1-0 in six-pack picks so far this week, and one of us is 0-1 after the Titans got it done yesterday. One of us predicted the Titans.
Let me preface it like this, because you say, I picked the Titans. Let's not forget, you prefaced your pick with, I don't know why I'm doing this. I wish I could change the pick that I made earlier in the week, but I guess I'm going to pick the Titans. So don't come at me with all that confidence and all that boasting, because you didn't want to pick the Titans last night.
Who'd I pick on Monday? What did I tell people on Monday, on Doom and Gloom Monday?
No. We're not going to Monday. We're talking about yesterday. When we
I
made
picked
our
the
picks.
Titans.
When we made our picks yesterday, you said, I don't want to pick the Titans, but I guess I am. You said, I don't want to do this, but I guess I am.
Do you know why I did it?
Why?
Because I thought they were going to win. And they did. There you go. Just like I picked the Steelers last week and I won. Max, how are we doing so far on the season?
As I inherit this for 1 week from Ian, it appears that Jared is doing better than Caroline by about 13 games.
What are our records?
Jared is 49, 40, and 1 push. Caroline is 36 and 53 with 1 push. But Caroline was better last week, 3 and 3 compared to Jared's 2 and 4.
Not good enough. Not good enough. All right, let's start with the first game, Max.
All right, number 1. You can see it on NFL Network on Christmas night. That's a little loud. We'll bring that down there. My favorite player in the NFL, Kyler Murray, hosting Jared's favorite player in the NFL, Carson Wentz, and the Indianapolis Colts. The Cardinals are 1-point home favorites. Do you guys need the total? The total is 49. You don't pick the total, do you?
No.
Okay.
No.
Cardinals are 1-point favorites Saturday, 7:15 on NFL Network.
Caroline, who goes first?
I go first. That's your Christmas present to me. I am going to pick the Arizona Cardinals. And I was fully prepared to pick the Indianapolis Colts because I thought the Cardinals were really on a downward slope. But once I heard the news that Quentin Nelson was going to be out for this game, I feel like the Cardinals are going to be able to get this done easily by 1 point. I think Indianapolis is incredibly reliant on Quentin Nelson. I mean, you saw when he was out at the beginning of the season versus now. I mean, Indianapolis looks like a different team. And I think that they're going to regress into the early season Indianapolis Colts that we saw earlier this season. So give me the Cardinals with a bounce back after an embarrassing loss to the Detroit Lions, -1.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Cardinals too, and I'm going to do it not because of anything with Indianapolis. I think that what happens is in the NFL, when you get embarrassed, and they got embarrassed last week against the Lions, they've heard all that talk all week. Arizona knows we got to turn it around. The playoffs are coming, and I think they get it done. Titans win the division tomorrow night.
All right, so you're both going with the Cards in our first game. Next up, we are moving to the Sunday games. Rams at Vikings. Rams are 3.5-point road favorites in Mini. It is at noon. It is on Fox, but not on Fox here, so go to another city and watch it on Fox. Rams are 3.5-point favorites.
I'll take the Rams. I think Minnesota stinks. I think Cousins stinks. And they won last week, so they won't be motivated to play well this week. And there's a chance Cousins might miss the game because Dalvin Cook tested positive for COVID, and Cousins is like super unvaccinated. So if he's a close contact to Cook, which I would have a hard time believing that he's not, he may miss the game. I'll take the Rams.
What's the difference between unvaccinated and super unvaccinated?
Like, he's not only unvaccinated, like, he wants everybody to know that he's not vaccinated.
He's, like, very against it? Well,
Yes.
I agree with you. I'm going with the Rams as well. I mean, both of these teams are coming in off of short rest, and I trust the Rams and Matthew Stafford on a short week versus old man Kirk Cousins, if he does play, and the Minnesota Vikings. And I think without Dalvin Cook, this Vikings offense is incredibly one-dimensional.
All right, so you're both 2 for 2 in matching so far. Moving on to game number 3. AFC North division leader going to be decided. Ravens at Bengals in front of a probably not capacity crowd in Cincinnati. Bengals are 3-point favorites. The game is at noon. It is on CBS. And again, it is not on TV here. Who you guys got? Bengals are 3-point favorites.
I'm going to take the Bengals in this one. I mean, the Ravens are just a shell of the team that they were at the beginning of the season. They have virtually zero healthy players, and the Bengals blew the Ravens out earlier in the season when the Ravens were at full health. So give me the Bengals -3.
I'll take the Ravens. I think they're the tougher team. I think the Bengals are going to be too cocky. I'll take Baltimore.
All right, game number 4, also on CBS at noon, and it is the game on TV in Nashville. Bills at Patriots. Patriots are 2.5-point favorites at home.
Ooh, that's a spicy game to get on TV. I will take Buffalo. I think Buffalo, now losing Derek Gabriel and losing Cole Beasley is going to be tough for Josh Allen. And Foxborough is not an easy place to throw, and they don't run, and you know Bill's going to enjoy that. I think the Bills were embarrassed by what happened in that Monday night game in Buffalo, and I think that they know this is a big-time division game for the division. Buffalo is trending in the wrong direction, but I'm going to take the Bills because I think they are so angry about what happened a couple weeks ago. Give me Buffalo.
I'm going to take the Patriots here. Nelson Aguilar and Kendrick Bourne are also both out of this game, so both teams kind of short on wide receivers. But the Patriots have a run game, and the Bills do not. Foxborough is an incredibly difficult place to play, so give me the Patriots. I think Bill Belichick knows how to get this done. And the chatter from the Bills after their loss in the last game against the Patriots, I think is going to be fuel for Bill Belichick and this Patriots team.
Game number 5 of our 6-pack picks. Steelers at Chiefs. 3:25 on CBS. That is the national TV game. It will be on TV here with Jim and Tony. 8.5-point favorites for the Chiefs at home. Who are we going with?
I'm going to take the Steelers to cover. I'm going to take the Steelers plus 8.5. I saw this wild stat that just Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill alone have accounted for 54% of the Chiefs' offense so far this season. The entire rest of the Chiefs' offense that's even gotten one target or touched the ball one time accounts for just 46% of this team's total offense. I think they are really going to be missing Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. And let us not forget that the Chiefs didn't look like a playoff caliber team earlier in the season. And I think without two of their biggest certified offensive threats, without Patrick Mahomes, I think that Patrick Mahomes is really going to be missing them. So I think the Steelers are able to keep it close against Kansas City.
I'm going to take Kansas City, even without Kelce and Hill. And do you know why that is?
Why?
Because I think the Steelers suck. And that's the hard part about the Titans' loss last week. Is I think Pittsburgh's terrible. I think Kansas City blows them out without Hill and Kelce.
All right, our last game, Broncos at Raiders. I don't know if this game means anything at this point, but it is an even pick. 325 on CBS, not on TV here, thankfully.
I will take the Raiders simply because I think Drew Lock's not very good, so give me the Raiders.
It's tough without Teddy Bridgewater in this one. I think the Broncos are able to at least keep it close. So I'll take the Broncos against the spread, but I do think the Raiders end up getting the win here without Teddy Bridgewater for the Broncos.
The spread is 0 points, so you're picking a winner.
Okay, well then never mind. Well then I'll take the Raiders. I'll take the Raiders to win.
There you go. 6-pack picks are presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. Everybody, please have a very safe and happy holiday. Please, again, be sure to drive safely. Please be sure to get to and from safely. However you define safe, whatever you want to define as safe, please be safe. But have a great time, whether it's with your family, your loved ones, your friends, whatever have you. Everybody, please have a great holiday. This past year, as we've talked about many a time, has been very difficult on all of us here at the radio station, having lost Floyd. And you think back to some of these moments with your family and your loved ones and your friends. And so on behalf of everybody, we just want to wish everybody a very happy holiday. I certainly want to wish everybody a very happy holiday. We're back at it Monday at 2 o'clock. The Floyd Reese special, A True Titan, a Ring of Honor special, is next. Everybody have a great holiday and have a great new year as well. We will see you soon.